Hello everyone and welcome to this week of GeoGuessr action. I'm Toby, I'm joined by Geolotris, and you are watching the GeoGuessr World League, where 40 players will be doing their very best to try and qualify for the World Cup in August. Geolotris, how are you doing today on this lovely Sunday?
As you said, it's a lovely Sunday. I'm feeling great. How are you, Toby?
I'm good, thank you so much. I am very excited for today's games. We have some players coming in today that have been playing very, very good so far in this tournament. I think a lot of the players that are currently on a good uprise in performance, players that started a bit down in the bottom of the leaderboard, but now clawing their way back up to the top. So hopefully we'll see some good matches here today. We have a format to go over, but before we go into that, let's talk just briefly about how the game itself works. We know there are a lot of new viewers out there, so let's explain to you real quickly the basics of GeoGuessr. It's simple. You get thrown down on planet Earth somewhere that you don't know where it is, and then it's up to you to pinpoint exactly where you are. You can move around on Street View as you see fit to try and get the location right based on the clues that you can get, and then the closer you are, the more points you get to go up against your opponent. But Geolotris, of course, in order to make this a little more difficult for our dear beloved professional players, there are some different game modes that we play.
There are different game modes indeed, and we start off with the moving game mode here on the left. As it's written, players can move freely with no restrictions, means you can look around, you can find better clues to pinpoint where you are. Whereas in the no move mode, you are on your spawn point, you can look around, but you cannot move. So if you see a sign in the distance, that's tough, you can't move there. And then for the third mode, we have NMPZ, no move, pan, zoom, which is pretty much only a still image. You get what you see, and no looking around and no moving either.
Exactly. And of course, when it is a competitive game, we want some scoring to be done. And for starters, it's all best of threes being played, which means the first player to get 2 wins will net themselves the victory. But of course, it can be a tie, 1-1, that then leads into a third game. And should it be, then the losing player will get 1 point, the winner will get 2. But if it's a straight 2-0 victory for one of the two parties, as shown here on the right side, where blue wins 2-0 against red, then he gets all 3 of those points. And these points, they lead into the massive leaderboard that we have got going, which we'll show you in just a second. I'm not sure if we have it already just yet. I just realized there's a finish that says this, but here we are. Here we have it. The leaderboard, as you can see, the players have been playing for 10 weeks already here at Geolotris. Still have 11 more to go. We're almost, I guess, when we're done today, we'll be at the exact halfway mark, because it's halfway through the broadcast. We'll be halfway through World League. So I guess that's a pretty good time for me to ask you, if you look at the leaderboard as it stands right now, has it kind of turned out as you expected, or are there any big surprises?
I mean, it's very hard to say, especially if you look on the second span from the 11th to the 20th spot. There's like such little playroom with the points. So all these players really thrive for the 3 points, because it's so important to get that 1 extra point. If you see how close we are here to get into this top 10.
Exactly. I mean, you just from 30th spot up to 19th. That's 11 placements higher. Is 1 win. It's 3 points.
Yep.
A 2-0 victory for Spaghet, and he can be sitting in 19th place. That's pretty insane. But it goes to show, I mean, it always comes down to the wire with these close matches. It's only really the top 4 right now that have been able to separate themselves. Radu, MK, Consus, and Blinky. But of course, I mean, who else? Who else to throw in to that ballpark of some of the very best players in the world?
That is safe to say. And yeah, as you said, especially with this caliber of players, like, it's the best of the best players from all over the world. So this was to be seen that it's gonna be this close.
Yeah. But of course, what can happen in one half can be completely upset in the other. But let's now go over today's matches. What we'll be seeing here, we're starting off with the Japanese player Shiina taking on Debre. And then after that, we're looking to Karania against Anu. So back-to-back Japanese games happening today, similar to what was happening last week. Yes, last week, Japan had some really good showings. And we'll see if that's going to be repeated today. Then, as we move down the day, you can see here the matches that will be played. And then we'll finish off with Kratsooo versus Spaghet and V89 versus Captain. So some really interesting games coming your way today. Geolotris, any matches in particular that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, especially the first game, straight away, the Shiina versus Debre matchup. We have two players who yeah, it's safe to say they are old school. They have both participated in the first World Cup in 2023. I've played or competed with them together with Shiina and Debre, so it's nice to see them back competing. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see how that one ends up.
Well, good thing for you is that we don't have to wait very long, because as you say, that is the first match that we're gonna be showing you today. So yeah, I mean, we might as well continue off the thought. I mean, I know we're gonna get to see the stats and whatnot in just a short moment, but when you look at Shiina, you look at Debre, I mean, obviously you know a lot more about them than I do, but my immediate thought is that Shiina, definitely a player that likes to take his time. He plays it slow, he plays it very calculated, as the stats here might approve of, as Debre, ooh, spooky Debre, comes playing on in. But talk to me a bit about these players.
Yeah, we have the stats on the board. Shiina with a 45% win rate, 60% precision is very high, and the average guess time of 35 seconds. You said Shiina is a slow-paced player,
he used to be, but I guess I take back my words.
But 35 seconds is still, one of the faster
I mean,
players
for
nowadays.
what we've seen in this tournament so far, that's actually kind of low.
Exactly, and on the other hand, we have Debre with a win rate of 62%, but a little bit less on the precision. We have 31 seconds average guess time, so I would say they are kind of equal, but that's also what I would have predicted before I saw the stats. I would say both aren't really the fast plonkers, the fast senders. They take their time, they try to get as much information as they can for each location, and look at that 16th versus 17th slot here.
Yeah, it's as close as can be. And I mean, we talked about how tight this is. With a win for one of these two players, if they go out and get the 2-0 versus the other, they could set themselves into top 12. And now, why is that important? Because finish in top 12, and you will guarantee yourself a spot for the World Cup Finals. But let's wait no longer. Let's get straight into game number 1.
Yes, and we start right away, and we have this instant plonk from Debre. He doesn't really look for any information. Got the vibe. We have some coastal, very tropical looking area here. Double white lines we drive on the left, which indicates Australia. We have them both in the coast of Queensland. It was a bit further north. Debre gets rewarded for committing all the way up towards Cairns there. It's
so interesting to me when we get almost 1,000-point hit in the very first round. It's rare that it happens, but that's what the northeast coast of Australia can do to you as we now go into a bigger city. Not too often that we've been in those, but what are you seeing here?
Yeah, this strikes me as an Argentina round. We see these black dots on the license plates, which you only see in Argentina. Good clue. But within Argentina, it's kind of hard to say, especially in a very urban environment. It's an illusion. Most people think, okay, if you have a lot of information, if you're in an urban environment, it's easy to tell where you are. But most of these players like to have some landscape to make a better guess. So you really depend on more information. But we see a coastline there, so we are in a coastal city, which makes it a bit easier. But still a pretty long...
Oh, do we have... Oh, I thought we might have a 5K to start things off with today, but not quite. That's what I was going to say. You look at the coastline and go, that's going to help you, but then you look at Argentina, it's like, well, half of it is just coastline. So
definitely. It's only on one side, but it's a very long span. But yeah, true. I mean, only one city over. We had both of them in the right area. Shiina a bit closer. And
here we go into round 3. Yeah.
We have some French on the street signs. I would assume we are in Quebec, especially with no front plates. And we get the safety hedge from Debre. Going
trying to put it in between two locations. Don't want to go for anything. Like, doesn't want to go for the 5K, but also wants to make sure to lose as few points as possible should he be on the losing end, which in this case he won't be. Yeah. Closer to the target, a bit further off to the left, and actually quite a big chunk of damage coming through. As you can see here, the players start with 6,000 health. First player to go down to 0 will be on the losing side, and so far Shiina looks to only have about half his health left.
Yeah, we had some slight hills, or not slight, it was just a little bit mountainous, which you see more on the eastern side of Quebec. He went with that, but Debre really made the right play there to just play it safe and got rewarded again. And this time we are in New Zealand. We had some ballers to start off on a dirt road.
Are they common in New Zealand, or is this one of those unique roads that everyone knows where it is?
I wouldn't say this is a unique road. Maybe for those who really play a lot of New Zealand
experts.
Because it's a learnable country, especially the South Island.
You get a big park sign there, but as you can see, Shiina is kind of looking over the map, trying to see if he can find it by name, but not really successful in doing so right now. 5 seconds left to go. No one's opted to commit to a guess just yet. It seems like they're kind of on each their side. Now they're grouping up a bit, and he's going to hedge it in the end there too.
Yeah, it's Central Tura, which is kind of a big city. It's visible on the map on this zoom level already, on the north there. But we were still pretty far away. But yeah, Debre ruled it down. I mean, he knew the rough area, found the other town, and that makes it way easier.
And Shiina was actually pretty close, but ended up kind of guessing himself out of that location. I guess he second-guessed himself a bit by the end, had to go further south. And then that come to cost him. So now down to just 600 health. This is getting very scary very quickly.
It is scary indeed, especially in a country like South Africa, which is also decently sized. Usually not that hard to region guess.
Oh.
But there are definitely some 50-50s that can be possible in South Africa.
Is this area code info that that Debre is going by?
Yes, I would assume so. They both end up in the area hugging Lesotho there.
Wow.
Debre just in the right city. Again, they both get the same area, but Debre picked the right city.
Debre is really coming in warm here today. Barely taking any damage at all thus far. And when he's right, he is completely on point. Third time he's within 800 meters of the exact location.
Yeah, and Debre is really strong with everything he has. Whether it's information or only a coastline, if it's just architecture, Debre is a very well-rounded player. And he's showing off that in this match.
I feel like this is a rare Greece round.
Here,
I don't feel like we've been to Greece too many times as of late.
Have Greece here, true. We didn't see it too often lately. Pretty big open valley. Makes me think more of the northern side of Greece usually, where you see more of those open valleys, and we have Debre in the north. I really like his guess. That's what I thought, whereas Shiina disagrees.
Ooh, he's going further south on this. I mean, of course, maybe he's gonna gamble a bit, maybe go a bit more all in when he's behind, but now looking to go further north as well. 3 seconds left to play. Shiina doesn't want to adjust.
You can definitely get those valleys in the south as well, and Debre also got a bit scared of that. You can see his plunk went a bit further south, but still enough to secure that win here.
So, Debre out victorious in the moving round. We go into no move now. As you explained earlier, Gelotrus, you're kind of fixed in location, but you can still spin around. You can still zoom in and out as much as possible. But you can't move up and down the roads. Is there any one of these two players you would say have the upper hand in no move?
No. I would say Shiina and Debre are... I would say their playstyle is very similar.
Matched.
Very similar. Yeah.
I mean, it goes to show they're right next to each other on the leaderboard too.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward for this one because you know they will both work with the same information. And they should both end up in...
Debre is going Hokkaido, but seems like Shiina is further south.
Shiina disagrees. We have a lot of cabbage. I would
he is Japanese. Do we believe in him?
He might have seen something that we don't know. But the default guess is Hokkaido, especially with that much cabbage along the roads.
So Shiina taking massive damage in round 1 in his home country. That's not the start he would have wanted to this round.
Definitely not. And I'm sure he saw something that's indicating for it to be a chance of being a bit further south. I don't know what it was, but yeah, this time he did get punished yet again. And we are in Spain, it looks like. But it looks a bit off. So I would assume, I like Debre's guess. Maybe we are on an island because it doesn't look like the usual architecture and landscape you get on the mainland.
So Debre is going out on the islands, out to Ibiza, but now he's going even further towards these.
Almost looks like Italy as well to me, but this should be
Yeah.
Spain.
He's hopping to Italy. It seems like Shiina likes Italy as well. He's actually going to the northeastern coast. A little indecisiveness between the two here. 5 seconds left.
Oh no, it's back plates. Okay, I thought I saw a long plate and ruled out Italy, but it's only the back plates. Therefore, it still can be Italy.
Well, let's see. Are they gonna be right? No, it's out to. I mean, it's
it was
technically,
Sardinia.
but it's Sardinia.
It was the island vibe. It was the island vibe. But yeah, on the Italy
They were right
side
on the
here.
vibes, but ended up shifting off. Honestly, I think had Debre gone Ibiza, he would have still. I mean, he would have lost the round because it's further towards the west. But nonetheless, we go into round number 3. And as you can see, the damage multipliers are increasing with every round. So big damage early might not matter too much if you can hit a good one in the late game.
Indeed, indeed. And yeah, this should be Misiones province in Argentina, the most northeastern province. We have an Argentinian pole in the distance. And with this red pavement, red soil, we should be in Misiones, and they both end up in Misiones province. And it is indeed right there. One of
Are we
the
gonna reach a
most...
point where the pro players just know the world too well for the difficulty of this game, where the camera and like in NPCs just have to go into the ground so they can't tell anymore?
That would be the case if Google wouldn't update Street View anymore.
That is true. That is true. We do continuously get new coverage.
We see new coverage every single day. Therefore, we shouldn't worry about that. It's new cities,
soon
new
anyway.
countries. No. Nope,
Plenty.
not at all.
Just
And
gonna wait for
also,
China
like,
to be included.
Soon as roads get recovered in a different season, they look way different all of a sudden.
True.
That puts off players as well, and you have to relearn how roads look like in a different season as well. So therefore, I don't think it's anytime soon where we reach that point where we can just learn all of it.
Well, we're halfway through game number 2. So far, Debre flawless in this one. Shiina down to 3,500 health. We're in round 5. And what do we have to work with here? Bullets, everything. Yet another Australia round?
We are in Australia again. This time we have this Gen 4 camera quality with the antenna, which isn't in too many parts of Australia. But they are still pretty far away from each other. You see it a lot in Queensland and Northern Territories.
Ooh, Shiina the first one to lock in.
Like Debre's guess a little bit more. I thought it's up there.
Could be big. 3 times multiply. Could be very big. He actually went all the way up there. Now he opts to hedge and go back again. Is that going to be game? Indeed, it is.
It's
Debre.
insane. I have never seen a guess like this. What Debre just did in the ocean to hedge both sides of the Northern Territories and Queensland. I don't think I've seen that hedge ever.
Nope. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Works out for him.
This is the first
Debre,
time.
swift 2-0 against Shiina. I like to think Debre didn't play a flawless game either. I mean, yes, he gets technically a flawless result there, but there were a couple of the guesses, including this one, that was a bit off, but able to get it home because Shiina didn't really come out swinging today.
No, not at all. Debre really knew when to commit and when to play it safe and hedge it out. He always had the right feel for it in this matchup, I feel like. And that's what led him to the win, I would say, yeah.
It was some pretty tricky locations, some of them as well. I mean, I feel like we saw more hedging in this game between these two than we've seen, like, sometimes for an entire day. But it goes to show, I mean, when you're up against the equal opponent, you respect them enough that you don't want to go for wild sends, because if they are 5King, if they are on point, that's your game over. So might as well be smart about it. Great playing here for Debre, able to get the 2-0 win, and now Punches take it into that, or at least close to, the top 12, which again is where you want to be if you want to secure yourself a spot for the World Cup Finals. Any other takeaways from you in that game there, GeoGuessr? Any big things that stood out to you?
Not really, not really. Again, Debre just played way too consistent. He knew when to hedge or when to commit. He played that out perfectly, and there's nothing Shiina can do. He didn't play bad by any means, but yeah, Debre just made the right choices over and over again.
Tough game and a good game for Debre there for sure. Of course, they have more games to play today, so they can't just get, I mean, for Shiina that is, can't be too upset about a loss. They gotta shake it off and then get ready for the games to come. I mean, obviously you've been in the pro seat for quite a while, GeoGuessr. What's your thing? Like, if you get a game that just really goes against you, maybe even some guesses where you're like, oh my lord, I knew where that was and I still messed it up. What do you do to try and shake off a bad game and get ready for the next one?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I had that on the EMEA definitely, where I was losing over and over again and still had to play some games. But it didn't bother me too much, I would say. I still just try to focus on my next game and not look back at all. That's
okay. Is there anything in particular? I mean, for aspiring GeoGuessr players that are watching right now as well, hoping that someday they will be the ones playing here in the World Cup, is there anything you can go to with them? Like, you know, when you're playing your ranked duels and whatnot, and all of a sudden you start losing 3, 4, 5 games in a row, and just keep going next and keep losing more. What's your advice to people trying to improve? Maybe not so much in game specifically, but more, you know, mental and preparation wise.
I mean, mental is pretty hard to give advice on, because that's just something you have. That's like how you are, pretty much. But I would just look back at what I did wrong, what led me to lose the games. Maybe note it down every time and see where your weaknesses are, and just improve on that. Yeah.
Always great to hear some insights from pro players like you, Gelotus. Thank you so much. Now let's get ready for the match to come. Karania versus Arno. Talk to me a bit about these two players, Gelotus.
Yeah, we have Karania versus Arno. Both, I would say, fairly. I mean, we've seen Karania play in the last World Cup as well. Yeah. Very strong player, whereas Arno is a bit more new to the pro scene, so we don't know as much about him. Karania with a 39% win rate here, precision 50, and average guess time of 29. So a pretty fast-paced player. Very average stats, I would say. I didn't expect that, to be honest, because Karania is a very strong player, so don't get fooled by these stats. And
I mean, it can be tough for sure. I mean, when you look at the competition he's up against,
definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely. It's very hard to tell.
Bluebeard Arno, I like it.
Bluebeard Arno, indeed. Higher win rate here, 42%, and a precision of 46. Average guess time, 32. Again, I would say kind of equal stats here in this matchup of Karania versus Arno.
And of course, you can see that he has played quite a few matches fewer than Karania. That's something that we didn't really go over on the leaderboard, of course. All the players haven't played the same amount of matches yet. By the end of the tournament, obviously, they will have. But coming into it now, they haven't. But overall, pretty similar stats-wise. Is there anyone you'd give the upper hand in terms of their, play style or whatnot?
I would say it's more for Karania. Also, his experience might help him here against Arno. He got quite unlucky on a couple matches that I remember. I don't remember a lot of matches from Arno, but as you said, Arno has played less games than Karania. Therefore, I will give it to Karania, but probably because I didn't see too much from Arno yet.
You know what? I'll be the underdog believer then. We can cheer for each our team. I'll go with Arno. We'll see what the what he can bring to the table, as we do have a slight delay. They will get the game going in just a short moment. So yeah, I mean, going into this one, of course, looking back at the previous match, Shiina, a big round loss there in the Japan round. Have you ever had in competition any rounds in Turkey where you thought, this is gonna be mine, I have to bring it home, and then you were the one to lose it? Does that sting more when you lose a round in your home country?
Of course. I just had it yesterday. We did play in the La Ligue tournament. We were on the final day and we had Turkey as the final map. And yeah, we kind of messed that one up because I was doubting myself on too many rounds. A little bit of bad communication as well, of course, but yeah, it was just not our game. On every round I was like, this could be there or there, and it turned out to be on the other side where we committed, and yeah. It is not nice, but at the same time, overall, I would say I win more on Turkey than everyone else.
You would hope so.
Therefore it's all good. You can't win them all.
You would hope so. Now, with this next match coming up, I mean, of course, you are on Team Karania. I'm on Team Arno. Karania, as you say, he's played globally before, but you can talk to me a bit about this as well. I mean, one thing is going into an arena, sitting in a studio and playing with the camera straight in your face and, stage lights and everything, and sitting right across from your opponent sometimes too. How does that... how does the mental pressure feel different there compared to when you're playing from home like these guys are right now?
I think
For you anyway.
That's an important part because I think it's very different for each of their own. Because for me, I didn't feel too stressed about it because I was also kind of an underdog. Like looking back at the World Cup, no one was expecting anything from me. That made it easier for me, of course, to have less stress and less, performance pressure, I would say. Therefore, it was pretty chill. Of course, way different if you know, like, everyone is watching. What if I mess up an easy round? Everyone is gonna laugh about me. But at the same time, as soon as you sit there and the round starts, you just lock in and block everything else and just, try your best to pretend you're home. And playing from there.
Act like you can hear the vacuum out in the living room and what is this? And I see what you're saying. As you can see here, the placement of the two guys we're about to watch on the leaderboard, they're sat 6 placements between one another. But if you look at the points total, it's just 1 win. Again, I mean, a similar case to the last game. If Anu gets a 2-0 win here, he's tied with Karania at 27, and he's played 3 less matches. It really is insane to me how incredibly close this leaderboard is.
It is. Therefore, it's a very important one. I mean, for both. Karania is looking up the board, and so is Anu. Therefore, I would say it's important for both of them to secure the points. Yeah, very important match for Karania. He has it, as I said, he's very experienced. He has, let me pull it up, 8,299 duels played in competitive GeoGuessr.
Pretty decent.
So if I would say there's anyone who has experience in playing duels, it is Karania. His most played mode is NMPZ with 3,730 NMPZ duels.
Wow.
That is a lot of experience, and therefore you would assume Karania maybe doesn't really want the game to go to NMPZ, but at the same time, maybe he wants to because he can secure the win there, maybe. So let's see how this will end up.
Now, to go back to the debate that we had just before, as we do wait for this game to get started, I've been wondering for a while now, and I remember I talked to both Consus and Captain about this when we were at DreamHack for the show match that we had going there last winter. I asked them, because you know how in other esports you have players with like special branded mice, you have special keyboards, they have to have their screen at a certain distance from them. I feel like for the most part in GeoGuessr, the players are more... they don't rely as heavily on the hardware. They'll just work with whatever they're given, for the most part anyway. But are there any players, I mean, for you, for example, as well, would you bring your own mouse? Because I talked to Constance about this. He's like, yeah, you know, the mouse here, it doesn't flick, you know, the same way that his own mouse does with the settings that he has and whatnot. I was like, Constance, why don't you just bring your own mouse then? And he was like, huh. I guess maybe I should do that for future tournaments, you know? I mean, if I'm used to a certain sensitivity, a certain, like, you know, the friction between my mouse and the mouse pad. Do you bring your own, like, when or I should ask another way. Can you tell a big difference when you're playing, like, on your home setup that you've played thousands and thousands of hours on, compared to when you play other setups for a game like GeoGuessr?
Definitely. I mean, the mouse didn't play too much of a role. You could tell there was a big difference in that. But I also think there was a restriction of bringing your own mouse. So
then it would
therefore
make things difficult.
That makes it difficult. But if I could, in theory, if we talk about the theory, I would definitely, and especially my monitor, because we were playing on 60 hertz there. And panning around with 60 hertz and with 240 is... it feels like you're playing a different game, honestly.
Oh, for sure.
But
for sure.
Speaking of games, our game started.
Hey! No more yabbing from the casters. Let's get straight into game and go straight to Thailand.
In Thailand, indeed. However, Karania is frozen.
Well,
I told you he likes to play NMPZ, but I'm pretty sure he would like to move here. I'm pretty sure he would like to move.
It looks to me like he is moving. We just saw him there for a second. Now, I guess we're not insulting anyone by saying that the reason for the delay was that Karania was having some internet issues. So hopefully, see, he's texting right now. It seems to me like maybe his internet issues have indeed not been solved. I'm not sure what the ruling is. We'll wait for the admins to make decisions of that. Of course, when you don't put in anything, you just get a big 0. So 4,900 points in round 1. That would be pretty tough. You can see them both typing right now. You'd imagine that perhaps there's going to be a reset of this round, or maybe again admins are going to decide how this one pans out. But we're looking to see that we can get it solved, of course.
Definitely, there's something wrong. Arno's still
But makes
playing
sense
it
for
out.
Arno to play.
Obviously, he doesn't know what's happening.
No, he's just like, bro,
He just
are
knows
we
something is
playing?
wrong because he's not really zooming, but yeah, he's just looking around this nice neighborhood in the Netherlands.
know
Why
what?
not?
I mean,
Just explore it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. You get to play the competitive map for one more round. I mean, even if we're resetting everything, might as well enjoy the location. And honestly, I mean, even if this round might not matter too much, it's again a very urban location, big city center location. I feel like it's been a very rare that we see pro games go into big cities.
That is true. That's also something you don't really like to see as a pro player.
It's too much info.
No one likes urban locations, especially moving games, because it's like about who gets the right sign first. So it can be a bit, luck-based, I want to say.
Arno missed the chance of winning the game there. Unfortunate, Arno. He tried. No, I think they're definitely looking to reset this somehow.
Yeah. Arno is also, I mean, he was
He's
looking on
moving
the
around,
side.
Get some practice in going to Brazil.
Yeah.
I only knew that because of the area code. Oh no, sorry, the internet domain.
Okay.
That was my initial entry. I mean, outside of obviously just knowing some countries. When I first started playing GeoGuessr more intensely, I suppose, coming into what was that EMEA regionals last year, that was the first thing I really got good at noticing was internet domains. That was like my first, the first meta that I really dived in on, because that's a pretty easy one, and especially when you're in bigger cities, you can get it there. We are going to go back to us for a second as we are getting this matchup set up, fixed. It's a long way to Australia, and sometimes the feet just don't go that far.
It is what it is. It is what it is. But I would agree. It's domains are the first thing people learn while playing, but I wouldn't really suggest doing that because I see a lot of players start playing with moving and they move around until they find a domain, and then just make their guess based on that, and you don't learn anything.
You missed all the other info.
Yes, you literally don't learn anything.
That's how I started, but that's before I knew you, Jalo. Just before you told me all the amazing intel there is to know.
Yeah, and but at the same time, the game doesn't make fun if you're wrong all the time. That's also like one part of it. Therefore, you can't really blame beginners. I mean, I probably did the same. I don't really remember, but I probably did the same.
You are a GeoGuessr dinosaur at this point.
It feels good to be right, no matter how you got it.
To be right. That's why when you first start playing, you play with 0 timer. You just move around and moving, and then you spend an hour trying to 5K a location. It's the funniest thing. You just sit around. I mean, sometimes I've spent, 30, 40 minutes on a round because I was like, I'm not giving up. I know it's in India. I know we're in the middle of nowhere. I don't understand anything at all, but I will 5K this location. And then 3 hours later, you get like 498, and then you flip your table and destroy your computer.
We've been there. Especially after you're on round 3, round 4. If you're on pace, you don't reset. You don't reset. You move for another 30 minutes and 40 minutes and 50 minutes. You don't care at that point. Yeah.
What was the first? Like, obviously you've played this game for a long time, and you've helped grow meta knowledge with your experience in the game and help teach other players that are now professional players too. But what was, if you can remember, the first real, like, this is a meta thing? Like, what was the first thing you learned to keep track of or to try and pay attention to?
I think it was,
if you remember,
Kenya snorkel.
The Kenya snorkel specifically?
It was I think the first ever stream I watched. There was someone explaining a follow car, and that was the Nigerian follow car. Yeah,
the police car?
Yeah, I think the police car was first, and then the snorkel.
What would you think if someone was to open up GeoGuessr for the first time ever, right now, which if you're watching and you haven't, you can do that right now because we're waiting for this next game to start. What would you think? Then they YouTube GeoGuessr tips. What would you think is the first tip a new GeoGuessr player coming into GeoGuessr learns? Or piece of meta knowledge, I suppose you can say.
Probably the Ghana tape.
I knew you were
I mean,
say it. That was my bet as well.
You see it all over the place. You see it on every second GeoGuessr tweet.
Yep.
The Ghana tape gets mentioned a lot all over the place.
It does. For good reason too.
People get curious about it probably, and even if they don't play GeoGuessr, they are probably, well, what is this tape they all talk about? And maybe that's why they learn it first.
Yeah, I mean, could be. That was definitely one of the first ones I learned. I think the Ghana tape, for me, for those of you guys who don't know, it's the roof rack on the Street View car in Ghana specifically that has tape, like duct tape around the edge of it. Therefore, if you look down and you see that there's duct tape on a car, looks to be in Africa, then that is, in fact, in Ghana. But for me, when I heard the term Ghana tape, that's when I realized, oh my god, there's so much to this game. It's not just, spinning the mouse around and hoping you're in the right location. It's the fact that Ghana tape became a thing and that there's a term for it. That's when I started looking in. I mean, also because I had to cast GeoGuessr 2 weeks later, I started looking into just GeoGuessr terminology that I'd never heard of before. And then I think within an hour, I had a list of 200 different words, and I was like, oh my lord, there is so much to learn in this game. And that was really what kind of just opened the umbrella of infinite knowledge there is to find in GeoGuessr.
Yeah, that's pretty much just the beginning. I think the most people who hear the term Ghana tape first think of music probably, because they don't expect it to be like an extra duct tape.
What are they talking about?
They think it's some music from Ghana tape. What could that be?
Yeah, exactly.
But I think the reason why that one is so popular is because it's the most consistent meta. Like, there's no other car in Ghana, in the whole country, there's no other car, and you will have that Ghana tape on every 100%. Single panel. You will
now.
Is
there any other car? You know what? Oh, this is a fun. Maybe we should do a podcast at some point because these are fun things to talk about. But there are more important things going on. Karania, he has decided to go. You know what? Maybe my internet will be good if I just turn off my webcam. And as we can see, at least he's spinning his mouse around, which kind of tells me that we are live now. Mm-hmm. Seems like it, aren't we? Yes?
Does look like it. He's doing a lot of pans.
Exactly, we are playing.
He turned around 3 or 4 times, was really looking for that landscape in his home country, of course. Australia.
We are getting the guesses in. We are playing. And now, well, here we go. Live and in action. First hit is going to come from Arno. He got 2 practice rounds, of course. We got to keep that in mind. Arno, that is. And he took those into full use and put them into full use. And now he's up ahead coming into round 2.
Yeah, and we just talked about car metas here. We have Karania staring at that antenna for a good 3 or 4 seconds before he starts moving. Very good clue to rule out some regions in Russia.
He's not moved yet at all.
Nope. He probably just accepted the fact that he won't find anything nearby. So he tries to get a good look on the landscape and make a guess based on that.
Arno going with the Toby strategy, just go a bit east of Moscow, hope for the best. Obviously, his reason to be there is very different than mine. And he gets 1,300 damage done towards Karania, so it makes perfect sense for him to be there too.
Definitely. Yeah, just turns out to be right in between them. And we just
wait a minute.
And I think you want to talk about this one.
Wait a minute. I know where we are, at least the country. I know that we're in Denmark. Haha. It's so funny. I literally become a child on Christmas. Somehow, something within me, every single round goes, please, let's be in Denmark. We are on the western island. Nope, that's wrong, Arno. Go west. It's on Jutland. You can see Holstebro. It's a big city in Jutland. That is, oh no, Karania, my mans. Oh. Don't do this to me. I'm giving you everything. Arno is going up towards where I was born. But that's also incorrect. So we have Karania in the wrong country, Arno in the wrong island. There we go. There we go. Holstebro, he's found it. He's there. He's found it. Arno knows. He's gonna 5k this for me.
I don't know if Karania might still have issues with panels loading it.
There you go.
I would assume because
5k, Arno. That's what you get. I told you I was on the underdog train, and he deserves it, guys. Can we get a round of applause in the chat for the Denmark 5k by Arno? Arno, I will give you a Japan 5k in return, my man. I appreciate it.
5ks in Denmark are extra special. They deserve some extra applause from Toby. But we move on. We move on. Especially Karania needs to lock in now. But he is having quite a rough game.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe we don't see him moving too much around. Maybe it's because the internet just can't really handle loading new frames. I'm not sure what's happening, but a swift as can be, flawless moving around for Anu. You can see he doesn't look too satisfied, but maybe he also realizes that maybe the competition isn't being completely straight on right now. Karania, though, we have to get these games going, obviously, and he's just going to have to try and see what he can make happen with it.
Yeah, it never feels good to, win if you know your opponent has
Against
maybe slow internet.
Wait, what are we seeing here? What is this we're seeing in the distance?
That might be a police car.
Oh!
We see it right there.
Any meta info you want to share with the chat?
Yeah, I like the Benin City, guess. But besides that...
That's the follow car, by the way, chat, we were talking about just before. The police in Nigeria.
Also, there are different police follow cars. So you can also make a region guess based on that. Different colors, the ordering of the lamps. Like some of them have the red sirens on the left side and the blue on the right side, whereas other police cars have it the other way around. That's also something we use to make a region guess. There's all kinds of stupid stuff.
Desert we go. Now, if you are just out in the middle of nowhere in the desert, how do you know it? What's the meta knowledge to know whether you're in UAE or in Oman with the new Oman coverage that's been added? What's the biggest tell?
In this case, we have the Gen 3 camera quality, and that doesn't happen in Oman. Oman coverage came out way later, therefore you know it has the better camera quality. That's one thing for sure. And if it's both in Gen 4, then it's a kind of a different car in Oman. But if it's an NPC, then it's getting tricky.
Then it gets very difficult, yeah.
But if you see the car, it makes it easier for sure to tell between those two.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, the tides have turned at least a bit, as Karania now is the one playing a flawless game here. Only 3 rounds in, but still able to stay at 6k as we now go into what at least the players believe is Thailand. Are you in agreement with this?
I do agree with that. We have those banana plants along the road, kind of a dry, flat landscape. Very hard to region guess, as we just saw them both going a bit more east, but it is in Pishit, I think. Could be the Pishit border.
Another round for Karania. Now 1,000 points ahead. Obviously, it ain't much with the multiplier stacking up. It can only get more and more dangerous from here as we go into a rare snowy location.
Yes, and it's kind of hard to tell whether it is Finland or Sweden. I want to say it looks more like Finland.
Do they have the same antennas in or like poles, electricity poles in Sweden and Finland?
Some are unique and some are generic. These ones we are looking at are generic, I think. They also have like quite a few, so I don't know all of them. Because you sometimes have like random poles just for one span of a random road.
That
you don't really learn that. Yeah,
to get better internet connection.
Pretty much. But with the long antenna, I think that's more common.
Micro damage coming in once again. I mean, Karania been hit twice, but only taking a total of 20 damage in doing so. It's a close game, as close as can be, as we now get into round number 5.
Yes, indeed. We have a couple city names there. I don't know if Karania knows them. We are in Australia. Herberton in 32 kilometers. He did lock it in pretty quick. I don't know if he did bother to 5k that one. Anu is in Victoria.
Oh no, his hand there. He's a bit frustrated.
Oh yeah, okay, he changed.
A last second change up to go further north, and you can see in his face like,
important
that was
switch
scary.
There. You could tell he wasn't sure, and that's also something you sometimes ignore if you have those city names. You just look at them and don't really look around. But he did take those extra 2 or 3 seconds to really look around and got that vibe for it being
honestly, that was,
northern in the country.
Yes, it takes 5. It's not France. Yes, it takes 500 damage, but I mean, for Anu, in this case, that was probably the best thing he could have hoped for. You saw him with this flick of his hand that he had no clue, but he was very unsure. And then the last second flick up there to the north, it looked like he was frustrated on camera, but I think that was all like a big sigh of relief for not taking more damage in that round.
Definitely, especially if you play against someone from Australia. That's some extra pressure you have playing against them in their home country. But in this case, I don't know what that flag is doing there. We just ignore it.
Looking at the flag.
We just ignore it. The pavement looks very much like Illinois, Iowa.
I'm gonna say Kansas because I know they have a lot of corn.
Yeah. Let's see.
That's all I can base it on.
I would say Kansas has a bit more hills than this.
Maybe you're right.
Flat, and it is Iowa. Indeed.
It was in fact towards the west, and this was around. Yeah, I'm not sure. Karania didn't put a guess in. It didn't look like he was moving at all. But again, as we knew, he had internet issues, and I think this might just be us giving this one away to Anu. That's of course the issue. When we have set times for these matches to take place, but I guess that's also the good thing in the fact that we do have 21 weeks of GeoGuessr. So yes, you lose a match here and you can blame it on your internet provider, but or at least partially on your internet provider, because Arno did in fact 5k Denmark, so maybe he deserved to win more. But nonetheless, for Karania, I think this is an unfortunate internet blaming O2 that we'll have to move on from.
Yeah, we don't judge Karania here at all for his performance. It was obviously a bit of tech issues, kind of frustrating.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
For the players, for us as well. No one likes to see that, but it is part of it. There's nothing we can do about it.
Exactly. We move on to hopefully better connections amongst the players that we'll be casting for the other games we're seeing taking place here today. I was going to default back to anything that stood out to you, but Chilotrus, you know what? I'll say what stood out to me in that round. Because Arno, my man,
we already know.
5K'ing Denmark. And honestly, he was on the wrong island for quite a while. With 5 seconds left to play, he hovered to Jutland, went holds the ball. Oh wait, that's right there. And it was actually a pretty insane street sign he had, because it had both like big regional rope numbers on both sides, and he just sent it. Got it correctly.
Given the time he had left after he went to the right region on the map, that was pretty impressive to get the 5k in that time. I'll give him that.
It was probably a bit of a random 5k, and then he just found a big intersection with all the cities represented. I'll go right in between them. Got it in, got the 5k, and you know what? That made me smile. And I'm still smiling, and it's 10 minutes ago, so it goes to show the value that it brought to my day, at least. For showing that even if it's a small country, they still matter, you know? Don't just plonk South Korea. Go out and find that city. Go out and 5k it, because the small countries deserve some attention too. Anything from the short bits that we did get to see of actual competition between Karania and Arno, were there anything in particular that stood out to you in that game, Chilotrus? Or is this one a write-off and we go next?
I would say so. As I said, the quick find from Anu in Denmark was impressive. His switch up to North Queensland after he was in the south, he was considering the south of Australia around Victoria first. We saw some good plays, but at the same time, it was an unfortunate one, I would say, because we never knew what really was happening on Karania's screen. Well, therefore, we just move on, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. Karania and Arno game has come to an end. In the meantime, what was being played also was Eamonn versus Feneb, where Eamonn was able to get himself a 2-0 win. And now we move on. We go to yet another Australian player who hopefully has a better internet connection. I saw him streaming earlier today, so you'd have to imagine that his internet is all right. It's Zigzag versus the Finnish player V89. Talk to me a bit about this matchup.
Yeah, and this morning wasn't the only time he streamed. He did have some practice sessions lately. Zigzag is locking in. We saw some records he got on Plunkett just today, and I think yesterday or the day before he did get some new NMPZ records. So he is locked in. He is on top of his game against V89 though.
Yeah. Now, before we get into this next game, for those of you guys who follow GeoGuessr over on Twitter, they wrote yesterday that tomorrow, being today, there was going to be a pretty big announcement. And you know what, Chilotrus? We have been given the power to share this announcement with all the viewers out there. So, everyone, listen in. We all know that the World Cup has been announced. It's going to be in Denmark. Yes. But what we don't know yet is what's going to happen with all the regional tournaments that are going to be coming in before. Well, listen here.
Dear fans of GeoGuessr, it's time for us to explore the world. Come and support your favorite players as they fight it out in the virtual boxing ring. The prize? A ticket to the World Cup. This year's major locations are Japan, inside the iconic Tokyo Tower. United States at DreamHack Dallas, one of the largest gaming festivals in the world. And finally, Sweden at the newest gaming festival, Glitched, in Jönköping. Go to geoguessr.com/World Cup for more information. We will see you there.
There you have it. The 3 GeoGuessr majors have now been announced. And my, oh my, Gelotris. Imagine being a player, especially a Japanese player, getting to represent their country and getting to play in the freaking Tokyo Tower. That is insane.
Toby, I was enjoying this casting and analyst work, but now I regret not grinding more and playing more. I want to be in this Tokyo Tower playing.
Wow.
It's insane.
That is, I mean, I've been to Tokyo. I've been, honestly, I stayed a couple of nights at a hotel close to this. You could see it all day, all night. This is wild. This is wild. And we haven't even gone over the other 2 tournaments yet. We'll be playing at DreamHack Dallas, which is one of the biggest gaming events in the world. And then at Glitch in Jönköping in Sweden as well. Jönköping being arguably like the esports city of Scandinavia, or at least one of them. I mean, wow. But I got to go back to Japan, man. That's insane. Inside the Tokyo Tower. I mean, GeoGuessr just continues to come up with insane things. We got to, I mean, you and I were both there last year at the World Cup in the City Hall where they give out the Nobel Prizes, and now they up it with the Tokyo Tower. I mean, I feel like GeoGuessr World Cup 2028 is going to be on the moon.
I mean, that's the step up from just playing in a studio to playing in the Tokyo Tower is insane. But as you said, we also have it at the DreamHack in Dallas. We have it in Jönköping. I mean, the Europeans weren't too happy. They won't be too happy knowing that the Asia Majors is in Tokyo and the Americas, they play in Texas, in Dallas at the DreamHack. And they might have feared for them to play again in the studio in Sweden, but it is actually also at an event, the Glitched.
Maybe next year we'll have it be in the Eiffel Tower. We'll see. We'll see if we go by the Towers meta from now on. I think there's a small Eiffel Tower in Las Vegas as well. Maybe we'll go there too. But as you can see here, of course, all these tournaments that are taking place will be to make it to the grand finals, which are going to be in Copenhagen on August 29th and 30th. And you can hop over and get your ticket over at geoguessr.com/World Cup. And now also bear in mind that if you want to add to the prize pool, if you want to make this the biggest prize pool ever, make sure to subscribe on Twitch, because all of the money made from Twitch subscriptions go directly to the prize pool. And also, not only that, not only can you help with the prize pool, but between all the subs that are registered every single week, a new winner will be selected. And as you can see here, GeoGuessr goodie bag could be coming your way if you're the lucky winner of that. So now, let's get back to what we're about to get to. Zigzag versus V89 after what I felt like was a big old Santa's bag of just cool announcements for the GeoGuessr community.
I mean, I just found out about this morning. It wasn't like I've known for weeks. So therefore, I'm also very hyped about it.
Yep.
And yeah, we go over to the game Zigzag here with a 59% win rate, precision of 53, average guess time of 29 seconds. Overall, very decent stats. Nothing stands out here, I would say.
No, it's, I mean, and then V89 going the MK special, 21-second average guess time. I mean, that's
something that stands out for sure.
That's gotta be. I mean, him and MK, they have to have the quickest guess time.
Definitely.
Is anyone sub 20 seconds?
Don't have
on average?
the chart open. I've looked the other day, but I think he should be on top with that.
Yeah.
I didn't see anyone sub 20, no.
And that's crazy, because even with that, he's still currently set in 8th place. He's 2 points behind Zigzag, so with a 2-0 win here, should he be able to do so, he would surpass Zigzag with that swift playstyle. We'll see if that comes to fruition or not as we get this game started. Zigzag versus V89.
Yeah, and I immediately spot these signs with the range road. We should be in Alberta. These are specific to Alberta in Canada. It's kind of hard to read the grid because there is some pattern to it, but it isn't easy. It doesn't make any it makes sense, but it isn't in an easy order to learn. So let's see if those players have it in their head how the pattern goes of these range roads.
See indeed Zigzag getting his guess in. East side of Calgary is V89 looking towards Edmonton.
Yeah, pretty
Try to
different
see
guesses.
what he can find.
He's
Oh, a last
switching
second
all the
change up.
way up, and he found it in the end.
Wow. Incredible readjustment and for a big country.
Again,
that is
1.8k on the first round is big.
Yep, that is a
Both.
rarity for sure. And V89 would want exactly this, because you do not want to let Zigzag get into a good groove in these games. He's a great, great player. So if you can get some good damage in early, that's phenomenal. Once again, we see V89 with a quick guess here, as we've become used to seeing in his play style. And Zigzag going up the west
Zigzag
coast here.
sees
of
those
India.
holes in the poles. I don't know why he's not switching. Ah, he can't. Okay, because that is Gujarat almost specific, 99%. He saw it, he tried to switch. You could see the last second ping.
Yeah,
He did take his time for that, though.
not there in time. We've seen it before. If you take too long and it comes to bite you. But yet another coastal game here. Beautiful location at that.
Definitely, indeed, beautiful, beautiful country overall. We are in Japan. And we drive along the coast. We spot that pole plate on V89 screen, which helps you to rule out a couple areas. In Japan, we have this short reflector, which you see a lot on the island of Shikoku. So Shikoku has a coast all around, but we see the water being south here. I think it was south, right? So maybe we are along the south coast of Shikoku here.
Let's see, V89 still. I mean, again, a rare case of him taking 50 seconds to get his guess in. I think this one is going to run all the way down to the end. No, not quite to be. Zigzag getting his guess in first.
He is
They're
indeed
far
in
from each other.
Shikoku, and it was indeed south coast
Okay.
Shikoku. But Zigzag also got the western vibes. I don't know if you also saw water to the west.
I mean, he did definitely take more time driving up and down the road there in the end of it. So maybe he saw something the V89 did, and at least he had the info that he needed to make it happen. As we go to the UK, thank you so much, Internet Domain. We do like it
got
when
the
you're
domain. Learning those domains. Come in clutch, but
there. Yep.
of course they both will know it nonetheless. Now they have to find something to get a better region guess in than just clicking the country.
Or just plonk it.
That would also work. Mostly
As we see
trash
V89.
bins are very helpful in the UK. So you see Zigzag looking at that, but doesn't
V89
really look
CP8 to
helpful.
find it. They're plonking pretty much on top of each other here. Neither of them wanting to take the time to find the exact location. But with that said, I mean, still both pretty close.
Yeah, just outside Peterborough here. And we move on.
Move on indeed. Where, oh where are we taking next here in round number 5?
We are in Bangladesh. Love that country because
I
you
didn't
have
dare to say
information
it, but I thought it looked like
everywhere.
Bangladesh text, so that's good.
Okay, it takes
Do
me
you
some
get
time
city
to
names on
read it.
these?
Yes, on every single sign you get city
Right, thank
names
you,
in
Bangladesh.
Bangladesh.
Thank you, Bangladesh.
Barishal, maybe?
Well, that's the next thing, right? Because you get city names, but then it's up to you to register what is the city name in this. And
just
as you
saw.
can see, Zigzag able to find it.
Yep.
Almost a 5k there. So, we mean, yes, it takes 1800 damage to start things off with, but 2 swings in a row, and he now finds himself back in the lead.
Very important one for Zigzag there to get the right city, which means a lot of points. And we are in Thailand. This is a bit more difficult to region guess, we have some mountain ridges and flat otherwise. Of course, that's in a couple places. You see it as V89 plonked in the central north. You see it in the eastern side of the country, but many more. Zigzag going for the safety guess outside Bangkok. He's covering a lot of the country from there, but it is all the way north, which gives V89 a lot of points, but not enough.
Wow,
to get this game done.
138 Zigzag. Let's see if he can bring it home. I mean, one good round for him, and that could be gone the other way. As we now go coastal. Can V89 find enough here?
Not something Zigzag wants to see. It is Uruguay. Therefore, there's a chance to survive, but not really a chance to turn this game around, really.
Try and put pressure on V89 instead to maybe get the guess wrong. They're in the same area, but not completely on top. Zigzag, though, able to stay alive with this one. It's going to be minimal damage come through, but again, keep those multipliers running, because even without multipliers, he could be dead in a single round. So the higher the multipliers, the bigger the chance that he can take V89 out in a single round.
Definitely, and that was what I was talking about. The best outcome for him is just that 100 points there. But he got that secured. We are on the Baltics.
A 2-second guess, if not even less for Zigzag there. V89 now the one under pressure. I don't think he's used to that.
Okay, Zigzag is still in it.
But that's the thing, right? Look at this. It's 300 damage. Look how close they are to one another. Had that been Zigzag on the losing end, that would have been him down and out. So it makes sense that he's trying to put pressure on.
He is praying for a big country right now, but he doesn't get it. We are in Sweden here instead, but still a country where he can turn it around.
What is that flag?
I didn't see it. Don't know.
Hopefully someone is Swedish in chat that can tell us what it was, because it looked... It had like red, white, red Canadian stripes with a logo in the middle. I'm not sure if that's maybe a regional flag or a... or just it's the smallest Canadian embassy in the world. I'm not sure. But that was interesting. I've never seen that flag in Sweden before. Maybe someone in chat can tell us.
Yep, I didn't see it.
Now you get to see it again.
Could be possible. But even if I see it,
Oh, we don't get to see it.
I
No
don't see it. There's
right
one
next to
on
the
the
start
lamppost.
Ooh, quick info there. Maybe to be had by V89. Maybe a bit of an advantage for him being Finnish. He might speak some Swedish as well, as they are both in the correct country. Let's see who gets the better location. It's gonna be V89. It's gonna be him bringing home the win here in this first moving round.
Committing all the way north there, north of the label as well. You don't see too many locations up the Sweden label. From then on, it's pretty limited coverage.
Yeah.
Especially for Sweden, which is one of the countries that is losing coverage, not getting new coverage. I don't know. They just get a lot of coverage deleted for some reason.
Unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. Let's see if we still have Sweden coverage in a couple months. I would hope so. And we are in Ukraine with that red wool car. Spring coverage also commonly found. It is maybe more summer, spring. See that a lot in Ukraine. Kind of hard to region guess here though, because we are in an urban environment. But they both get the Western vibes.
I mean, I feel like if you're within 150 kilometers in a country like this, that's as best as you can get with what they were given to work with there. So solid way to start this one off. Zigzag out in the driver's seat now as we go into round number 2, out into the open once more.
We are in Malaysia here. It looks like Sarawak, so we should be on the Borneo side of the country. We have a quick lineup here from Zigzag. He gets that coastal vibe, which I do like. It would definitely fit with the angle and the looks. We have a lot of palms, which always makes you think we are maybe closer to the coast.
Zigzag looking for specific roads here, maybe trying to see if he can line up a nimble 5k. Just here in the beginning of game number 2. But I'm not sure if you found it. Nope, both really close though.
That's frustrating to see, because V89 gets closer here, even though Zigzag was on the coast. But it's all about getting closer.
Unfortunate indeed. Both now somewhat close in points once more. As we go back on rounds here. Into round number 3 we go.
We do indeed, and it looks like Spain to me. We have this letter pole. Mediterranean looking landscape. Kind of hard to region guess this one. I thought it's a bit more north with how green it is, but at the same time it looks a bit dry. Therefore I have mixed feelings. Therefore I like the middle guess.
Yeah. Is this a hedge or a dedicated middle guess?
I mean, yeah, I assumed it to be somewhere around the middle, just west of the label of Spain.
That's exactly what it is. Zigzag able to get the close one on that one. Stays ahead once more. I mean, again, they're swinging back and forth here, neither of whom really taking any big damage to start things off, but we all know what that means. Means that those multipliers, you can see it, damage is 2.5 times multiplied right now, and it's only gonna increase as these rounds go on.
Yeah, and we have a quick Piranha guess. I like that one from B89. We have both of them ending up in the middle of Piranha. Works with the landscape, with the vegetation. Could be north or south of them, but it's quite hard to commit to one side. So I think the best thing they can do there is just click middle, and
I mean, they really want to go hand in
skip
hand
that one.
into round 10. Every time one hits, the other hits
pretty
right
much.
after.
But this could be a bit more interesting here. Looks like northeastern US to me off the bat.
Okay.
Somewhere in New England, maybe. But
Only dirt roads, no license plates really visible that you can make use of. No bullets, no big poles.
Yep.
You can see the cable up there in the end. But what are you basing? Like, what are you basing anything on? Is it foliage exclusive?
Yeah, it's the foliage, definitely. The vegetation looks very northeastern. But I could be wrong. It is a guess, after all.
Is there anything that tells you America in this? I mean, based on the dirt, the terrain?
Short license plate on the car will put us in the Americas here. And doesn't look like Mexico, doesn't look like... It could be Canada, but I don't think it is.
Well, I mean, I love it. When my co-caster is in doubt, sometimes that means the players are as well, which can usually end up being pretty big damages. They are very close to one another, though, V89 and Zigzag. That is, but they're both way off. You said it could potentially be Canada, and it was. It seems like they were equally surprised by that round.
I don't know a single player who's going Saskatchewan on that one. I don't know how to guess Saskatchewan there. That is
well, you know now they will.
Interesting.
From now on, they'll always be going.
If we get that exact pano, then maybe. But we move on.
I like these rounds. They show us that they are only human after all. Sometimes these players can look like robots with the knowledge they possess. Okay, you know what, V89, I respect you for going Denmark. I appreciate it. I like the gesture. Unfortunately for you, my man, it almost cost you the game.
I don't think we had a blue strip on the license plate. I think
we did,
that's maybe what Zigzag used to guess the UK there.
I still appreciate anyone guessing Denmark, even if they lose on it, you know.
Just about sending a message.
Exactly. He took 5k damage just for me. I respect it, V89. I see it. I see you, my man.
This is quite a hard location. Again.
I mean, this could be Denmark too.
I do agree it should be Europe, but with this landscape, what are possibilities? I want to say, yeah, France is possible. I want to say Croatia is possible. I didn't think of Poland. Really,
Seems like V89 does.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Plunking it into Poland. You see, he guesses Denmark, and all of a sudden our brains are tuned into one another. I like it.
Okay, let's see.
But this is going to be big. I feel like these rounds have really been tricky. Zigzag, maybe thinking France, Germany, Poland, could be all of them. I'm just going to go into Germany because that's in the middle. Could have gone France, would have been a bigger round, but it's not going to matter. He's going to win it regardless. And that is going to be now a 1-1 scoreline, which takes us to the place that we know the viewers like the most. NMPC it is.
We all love it, but one of those two players is someone who only plays NMPC, and that's Zigzag. It's his specialty, and therefore I think he's happy to get this game over to the NMPC mode against V89, who is also known to be a very good NMPC player though. Therefore, it's not easy to make a prediction.
Let's see, West Coast. Mexico, at least initially, is where Zigzag is looking. He's going to lock in as well. V89 still yet to even open the map.
Like that, the buildings look quite Mexican. I can't make out the pole from our small screen.
When in doubt, go Mexico City. We did.
Respect that. I respect that, yes. I respect that, yes. It was pretty flat, but then again, it could be east of CDMX. It could be west of CDMX. And if you don't want to commit, it's always good to just plunk it down there.
Exactly. Second game we go, and of course, for those of you guys who are tuning in for the first time, important to note that as you can see, Zigzag's face is flying all over the place. That's because he can't really use his mouse for anything right now outside of opening the map. The screen is all he sees. This still image is all he has to work with.
We have a couple of buildings in the distance. I like the Belgium guess. It looks like they are brick buildings, but I'm not sure.
If they were more than 2 pixels, I could probably help explain it to you, but they are literally 2 pixels. So we'll see. We'll see if they like it or not.
It is France instead.
Okay, almost identical to the location we had just before. As 2,000 damage comes swinging in return. Of course, that's one of the big things with an NPC as well, is these rounds get very difficult, very limited info to work with, so usually the damage swings are also pretty big.
Indeed, indeed. And it appears that we have some low quality camera and flat landscape. Both of that combined should be that area around Guayaquil in Ecuador.
Okay.
I would assume we don't see any mountains to the east.
V89.
Usually you are either on a mountain or in a valley in Ecuador, and if you're not, then you just click on Guayaquil. You will be rewarded 90% of the time. And it is just
way out on the peninsula.
Yep.
Minimal damage done here as they are both in the right vicinity. Move on to the next round, and of course with that we just keep on increasing those multipliers.
Oh, this is an interesting one. We have the end of a road. We have a little bit of grass in the middle of the road. Looks like it. It should be UK or Ireland. I was leaning Ireland just because of the grass in the middle of the road, but at the same time it doesn't really look like Ireland too much.
V89 hedging.
Especially the gate looks more like UK, therefore I am not sure, but neither is Zigzag. Hedging it in the ocean.
Both playing hedgy guesses in between each their country. UK on one side, Scotland on the other for V89, and then Northern Ireland for Zigzag. It's going to be him on the receiving end of the damage, so now 2,000 health behind. So we go into round number 5.
Round number 5 indeed, and this looks like Gujarat, somewhere along the coast I would say. You have a lot of these, not really lagoons, those are not lagoons, but a lot of water patches along the road in Gujarat. That's something you see a lot there.
Ooh, nice swing back from Zigzag again. I mean, big countries, and then with the multipliers coming in, things are tied up now. Coming into round 6, of course, the winner of this game here will be the victor of this matchup. So we go into round number 6, 3.5 times multiplier, and both sitting very evenly in health.
Indeed, if you tell me this is Saskatchewan, then I will believe it.
Fair enough.
Because it looks like it. I think we also have a Saskatchewan poll there, and it is indeed, they both know.
They've learned. They learned the lesson from the previous one. When in doubt, go Saskatchewan.
They did indeed. But, I mean, you can tell how different this location looked compared to the other one.
Oh, yeah.
It was just worlds in between them.
They found the one forest on the south side and went there. What do we have here?
Right. We have a little bit of baby cabbage along the road.
I was going to say Japan.
Which means... Oh, yeah, Japan. We have a little bit of
that was
cabbage.
just given. Sorry, I was trying to be smart here for a second. And you're already 5 steps ahead.
Should be on the northern half of the country, if not pretty far north. I don't think it's Hokkaido, but still north of Japan. They both go towards it. Neither of them really wants to commit far north. You can tell they build up a little bit more to the north, adjusting their pin. And that's the right move here, definitely.
Could have been even further up there, but it's not going to matter too much. Big swing once again with those multipliers coming through. V89 down to just over 1,000 health now. Zigzag close to bringing this one home, but one off guess here could also be his end.
Exactly. That was a round he could have won on. Definitely, if he would have committed, but it is what it is. We have a sign on the left. are driving left. The camera quality looks weird. Because it looks good for India standards. And there are some areas which have somewhat better camera quality in the east. So is that why we see that eastern guess
north
from both of them?
This is going to be game regardless. As this is in between them. It's too big unless if the location is right in between. And Zigzag hands in the air. As cheerful as can be off of that. One was down 1-0, but a big 10k damage done to hit home. It's going to be V89 out. And Zigzag winning this one 2-1.
Yeah, very, very impressive guess to finish off this game for Zigzag there. Committing all the way northeast. It's not something you do a lot, especially in India. You usually click somewhere in the middle, you go towards the south, because the northeast usually is a bit more recognizable. You have a couple metas for the northeast, there are specific poles, you have specific fences for the northeast, etc, etc. We didn't have anything of that, and he's still committed, and he's really happy to win that this way, without any clues, I would say.
And again, I mean, impressive round for both. As you said too, we had Zigzag, the NMPC. I mean, that's all he's been grinding, and it comes to fruition. Works out for him. He gets himself the reverse sweep victory here against V89. V89 was looking pretty hot. Maybe it was the Denmark guess that cost him 5k health that it was the beginning of his downfall. I'm not sure. I don't want to blame Denmark on that one, but unfortunate for V89 nonetheless that he couldn't claw up to Zigzag, who was already set ahead of him, but now, of course, that lead is going to be even higher.
Yeah, definitely. We saw some blunders from either side, but I would say V89 really made the mistakes when he wasn't allowed to, and that led Zigzag to the win. But overall, a very intense match. We got it all the way to NMPZ, all the way to, I don't know which round it was, but even in the NMPZ game, we went pretty far distance. So,
yeah, but even it was round 7 or round 8 that ended it off. I mean, the beginning was incredibly close. They kept hitting each other back and forth. Low damages initially, and then at the end of it, when the multipliers come in as well, they just started swinging 2k plus hits every single time. And of course, that's only going to get you so far in the end of it. But congrats to Zigzag. I know there's a lot of viewers out there supporting him, so they'll be cheerful off of that. But we are going to get our next match up ready to go. I heard in my ear just before which teams it's going to be. And as you can see here, Eamonn versus Anu is on our screens. As Karania is still, I think, suffering some internet issues. We will be looking back to Anu. We saw him before. The the Denmark 5k player. I have to go back to that because that was just amazing. He won against Karania. Now he gets to take on Eamonn. Has he found the buff against playing against players from OC? Or will Eamonn be too big of a challenge for him, you think?
Well, Eamonn lives a bit further away from the servers.
Yeah, true.
Going to New Zealand, one step further into Oceania. But yeah, I want to say also I know from Japan.
Yeah.
Might not have the best connection, but this time I hope we get a proper gameplay between those two.
Oh, for sure. I mean, they both won their first games 2-0, obviously. For Anu, it was in a bit of a different shape than what Eamonn might have had to go through. So they're both coming in, 2-0s, 3 points to start off the day. Do you have anyone in particular of these two that you see as the predictable victor?
I want to say it's kind of similar, like the Karania matchup here, but I think Eamonn plays a bit better on moving. I want to say Eamonn is an underdog in moving, I would say. It's overlooked how well Eamonn plays on moving games. Therefore,
so you used the term underdog on Eamonn now, but you also used that on Anu earlier. Can there be two underdogs in the same match?
I mean, it was only specific to moving, in the moving mode.
Fair enough.
I mean, Eamonn is a great player, but I think no one sees him as a good moving player specifically. But I want to say they think wrong. Eamonn is a very good moving player.
Nice.
So therefore, I'm hyped to see the first game right off the bat, the moving game.
It's going to be a good one for sure. As you can see, later down the line, we've got more matches coming your way. And if you're only tuning in now going, oh, wait, there's only 2 hours worth of GeoGuessr left. Don't you worry. Later tonight, there's going to be even more GeoGuessr coming your way. If you're a GeoGuessr fan, one thing's for sure, always keep your Sundays free. Or at least the next 11 of those. Because, yeah, there's GeoGuessr all day long. And it's really amazing. The fact that we can wake up, you know, brew a cup of coffee, come in here, and just start watching GeoGuessr from start to finish. Here we see the matchups later tonight. And there's going to be some big games coming in. Radu versus Gingy, MK versus Lenly. At the end of the day, Foul versus Radu again. I mean, these matches are gonna be bangers.
You know, I just hope I get a DM later on saying from the caster saying, hey, I can't step in today. Can you do it for me? Because those are games I would love to commentate. They are really great games. I mean, off the bat, starting with RC. Everyone loves to see RC play. Gingy has a very unique play style. Sometimes he's very unpredictable, I would say. Gingy is a player who sometimes just plunks it down and sometimes moves for how long he can as possible.
Can we get any very early predictions? Just quick, pick me. We get the main games and the second games. Give me one winner from each game instant. Just speed run it.
Okay.
Go.
RC.
Yeah. Just keep saying
Lenly?
names. We'll follow you.
Harrier.
Yeah.
RC again.
Okay.
Second games, Mu versus Foul. I give it to Mu.
Yeah.
But then I give it to Pan.
Yeah.
Swan Gambit versus Pan. I give it to Swan Gambit, definitely.
Okay.
And on the other game, I give it to MK.
Okay. Mine are Radu, Lenly in an upset, because everyone's going to pick MK. I'm going to pick Lenly here as well. Then we go Foul, then we go Radu. Then we go Foul, then we go Pan, then we go Swan Gambit, and then we... Oh, MK Gingy. Then we go MK. I didn't give MK the win against Lenly, but I'll give it to him against Gingy.
Same. Yep.
There you go.
I think that could work. That could work out.
Let us know, chat. Spam your requests or spam your predictions in the chat. All we'll be seeing the next 10 minutes is just random names. Or not random, but you know, people like throwing in all these names in order. But that's our prediction. Maybe somebody screenshot it and they'll see which of us got the better of it, Geologist. Imagine if I can beat Geologist in predictions. That'd be pretty insane. That'd be pretty insane. I already have my internet domains down, so you know, I mean, it's getting pretty good at this one. We are just getting this next match remade. We'll get into the Eamonn versus Anu match in just a short while. But I guess before we get there, now we didn't get to see that much of Anu play in the previous game, but is there anything that... And I know that I'm being rude to you because we already went over how he's kind of new to the scene, but is there anything that you've seen from Anu in particular that you think will work well in a matchup against a player like Eamonn?
Not really. I mean, I've seen a couple matches, obviously, but there was nothing for me really standing out too far. Like, neither negative or positive. I think he's a very solid player, but there was nothing that really stand out for me so far.
What about the other way around for Eamonn? Is there anything for him, like anything specific to his playstyle that you think will work well against Anu?
Eamonn, as I said, on the moving games, I don't think Eamonn is a fast pinpointer, but I feel like Eamonn really knows how to use info, how to get to info. I think that's one of Eamonn's strengths. That's at least something I've seen in his past games, yeah.
Well, there you go. As we said just before, Eamonn did beat Feneb 2-0 in his first matchup. Anu was able to win over Karania, even if there might have been some internet issues, which, I mean, clearly there were. But could still have been a 2-0, even with a good connection on the side of Karania, who's to say. So this is going to be the matchup between two players who have already secured themselves 3 points on the day. And as far as I know, they'll both be done after this match has been played for the two of them. So for one of them, could be insane if you pick up 6 points in a single day. That would skyrocket you up the leaderboard more than they already have come up. And later down the line, of course, we'll have Feneb and Flyme playing Spaghet V89 as well. I don't know if you have the list of matches we're covering later, Geologist, but are there any of those games in particular that you're looking more forward to?
I don't have it open, but
I'll tell you. Feneb, Flyme, Spaghet V89, Kratsooo, Spaghet, and V89 versus Captain.
I have it open now.
While you find yours. While you find yours, I'll give you my pick because I'm very excited to see Kratsooo and Spaghet play. I had the chance to meet both of them at the World Cup last year. I mean, obviously you know them as well, but I think I wouldn't have been as excited for this matchup if it wasn't because I got to cast the absolutely absurd Kratsooo comeback at the World Cup last year, and now he's going up against Spaghet, who I wouldn't give the upper hand in this, but He beat Blinky last week, so I feel like there's got to be some momentum that's kind of carrying through into this week. I think that's going to be an insane matchup. I hope, at least, that is going to be a good one.
I mean, I had to think it through for seconds because, again, it's pretty hard to tell. Of course, as you said, if there's a personal bonding you have to those players, you think different about it. I've played against Kratsooo on the MEA. He did play insanely well against me. Therefore, of course, I see him as a scary opponent. But then again, you had Spaghet beating Blinky.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's really hard to tell. But I think Kratsooo will have the advantage, more experience,
Fair enough.
longer in the game. Would say he's better at moving. All those combined, I think, will make him the favorite in this matchup.
Fair enough, but now let's get straight into this one. We'll skip the stats. We'll just go fly straight into it because Eamonn and Anu are now on the board. We've yapped for long enough, and here we go. Anu in with a quick guess here in Paraguay.
Yeah, pretty much in Paraguay with his plonk.
At least on the border there, too.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep,
just a
it
bit
looked a bit more green, more tropical, which you get more along the north of Argentina. The further south you go, the more dry it gets. As a rule of thumb, of course.
Yep. Round number 2. We go to the train tracks. But where is this going to be?
First thought was wrong, because I thought Mexico, but we don't have octagonal poles, so we are in Colombia, I would assume. Yeah, we have a yellow plate. So, and white signpost as well. So we should be in Colombia with those two clues combined.
Quick guess from Mano. We'll leave Eamonn with 15 seconds to work with.
Pretty big open valley. Of course, there are a lot of options with that, but it will rule down a couple areas at least.
Let's see. What do we get? Both of them nearby, and this is the first time in a while where just go capital and you get the better hand. Would have been better off, but doesn't matter. This time around, it's going to be Anu out victorious. So both able to get a round under the belt as we head into round number 3.
Yeah, especially with the railway we had. It's maybe more likely to be around the capital in a country like Colombia, but hard to tell. Here we have some German on the language, but this sign is blue, and white sign you won't find in Germany or Switzerland.
They're both
or Luxembourg.
Scanning for specific cities. Here you can see very quickly Anu was looking towards the eastern side of Austria.
We have a pretty flat landscape, and with that given, you should be east, south, north of Vienna, or along the Germany border.
Yeah.
But most likely to be where they are, and you see Anu also scanning along the Germany border now because those are the only options.
I'm surprised that when they're within such, like when they've narrowed it down to, let's say, like 50 to 100 square kilometers, that they then take this long and not just get the guessing quicker, especially with how fast Anu played the last 2 rounds. He's clearly changing the pace up, now going back to effectively where he started, like 4 seconds into the round, and he's going to be on point, but you can see they were both looking for a potential 5k there, but this time around it's going to be Anu out victorious.
Yeah, I feel like they both know this round won't matter too much, so might as well just play it out and flex on us with 5k.
Some time.
They tried to give us the animation.
Yeah. They were both there. They both knew. They took their time and they tried to get it. That's been now. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to not talk this round. I'm not saying anything.
Would you look at that?
Give me that 5k. I'm ready, Gelotris. It's your turn.
Yeah, they are not looking at the right things.
What should they be looking at?
At trash bins, definitely. Because shop fronts. Oh, it's saying get it. That's east or west of Bolu? It's northwest in Turkey.
Okay.
Get it. Was it east or west of Bolu?
Anu is in Ankara. How far off are we?
200 kilometers.
Okay, so not
maybe less. More. He found it.
There you go.
100. Yeah, it's east of Bolu.
Even line up the 5k.
I knew it's in the Bolu province, but I forgot if it was east or west of it.
I feel like that's how he got the 5k in Denmark, though, by just kind of throwing it into the city somewhere, and somehow he was 80 meters off. Let's see if he gets it this time around as well, as he has found the city. Eamonn, you can see a little bit of a shaking on the head there. Not quite sure. Actually, he's going to be there again. The 5k once more from Anu. The flick of a wrist sends it into the city and gets it again.
Love to see that.
You know what? I think he knows who's casting today. He's had 2 5Ks, one in Turkey, one in Denmark. I like it.
Wait,
I like this man. I want to meet this man.
Us. He didn't even want a 5K. He just did it for us. So
He just threw it in there. He kind of looked away from the screen while he was doing it too. You know, just style points. I like it.
No look 5K. And
Love
this
to see it.
time we are in Russia.
Hold on.
Usually with a flat green landscape, you want to consider Omsk, but this is not Omsk. This looks more east of the country, maybe around Ulan, but then it should be a bit more mountainous.
Get some signs there. And even if it's 100 kilometers to a
Irail.
city, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a city.
No,
you know
I've
what
never
is.
heard of Irail.
Yeah. Well, Eamonn is far
it could
towards
be
the
more
west.
north as
I'm not
well,
sure
yeah.
exactly where Arno is. He's
I think they are. Oh, we have Irail on Eamonn's screen, but he guessed right on top of it. Now he switched up. He should be very close. Yep.
There you go. Eamonn on point. Big damage coming through. Actually, really big damage coming through onto Arno.
Yeah,
He congratulated his 5K, but now he's in trouble.
definitely. Not the easiest round, and we move over to Thailand. No. Are those temples? No, it's Malaysia. I think. Yeah. Okay, we have Malaysia.
Neighboring
Ipoh on the
countries.
sign.
Big damage though if you get it wrong.
we have Ipoh on the sign, which is north of the country. We also have Georgetown on the sign, which is also a bit more north. But then again, those towns you probably also see if you are pretty far south in the country on highway sides.
Don't always have faith in highway signs.
But then again, I would still think we are in the north because we would probably see Kuala Lumpur on the sign if we are south of Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah,
That's my logic.
Still sitting on the south side of the capital. It's only Arno who's opted to go up towards Ipoh, but not all the way up there. Georgetown.
Oh, we have
on
Kuala
the sign
Lumpur
as
on the
well.
sign. Never
Kuala
mind.
Lumpur is there as well.
There.
Let's see. Let's see who's gonna get it. 1 second to work with. Arno
Yep.
still
I mean,
further
with-
up towards the north, and he's gonna be correct for being there. So 150 kilometers further towards the target means 1600 damage done to Eamonn, who's now sat just above 2000.
Yeah, with the ordering of the cities on the signs, I would say it made more sense to be north. But obviously hard to tell. Definitely. And we are back to Russia. We have some info. I cannot get any info out of that billboard though.
Arno defaulted
Looks
into
we
Kazan
have
initially.
a C-type antenna, which you should find around Moscow.
Am I
is-
completely wrong for saying because it said local history museum in English there that we might be further west, or could that be in the east side of Russia too?
You know, if it's a museum in somewhat of a bigger city, you could definitely see also say English in other places.
Okay,
But
I've never been
it
to
could be
Russia,
a
so I
clue.
wouldn't know.
It could be a clue.
I just figured that the east side of Russia doesn't attract as many Western tourists, but here we go. Eamonn on top once again. Is it going to be enough? Yes, indeed it is.
Yep.
He's going to be ahead 1-0.
Yeah, this game pretty much got decided by Russia. Whereas, I mean, the first guess was big points for Eamonn, and this time it's just to get those extra points in. But nonetheless, gaining a lot of points in Russia in this match of the moving game. And yeah, I'm not surprised. I've told you, Eamonn on moving is scary.
Pretty solid. I mean, I will say Arnold did make it a pretty good fight.
Definitely.
Coming into the end of it there. But nonetheless, Eamonn out victorious to kick things off. There were a couple of rounds, though, where it seemed like Eamonn was a bit shaken, frustrated about some guesses he didn't get right. Arnold's 5K, of course, didn't really help his momentum either. Or Eamonn's momentum either, that is. So a tricky one at that, as both of the players now waiting for this next game to get started. Usually we don't get to sit here and just stare at these guys. But here we are. Any big takeaways you want to go through from what's happening in the background there? I'm not seeing any big posters. I see Eamonn. Is it a mirror? Is it a poster on the back of his webcam there? I'm not quite sure.
I am not sure. It looks like a mirror to me.
It looks like there used to be a poster on the left side for Eamonn. Or maybe it's...
Oh wait, that's a door, right?
There's a door.
Door, closet.
We don't usually get to sit and look at these guys just waiting, and they don't know that we're looking at them either.
You know, we have to talk about something, you know. Why not?
They're like, guys, start the game. This is getting awkward. Start the game already. But here we are, getting into game number 2, into no move.
Looks promising. It looks promising. We are about to start the no move game here. And we start off in North Macedonia, maybe? We have some Cyrillic. It looks like the Balkans. So it should be Serbia or North Macedonia.
A rare Macedonia at that. It's been a while since we've been down there.
Is it even Cyrillic? Yes, it is. Okay. Yeah, so if it's Serbia, it should be south because of the mountains. You don't get those mountains in the north of Serbia. And if it's not, then it should be North Macedonia.
Well, both in and around the
we
same
have
area.
a blue strip on the cards, so it should be Serbia, more likely. I like the Nishkes. I like the Nishkes a lot with the mountain.
Eamonn, bit for the North the Nano.
It
Should
was
have gone
North
further
Macedonia.
south, as it was in Macedonia. I can't
Okay.
recall the last time we had a round go into Macedonia.
Yeah, I mean, the vibes did fit for North Macedonia, but we had that strip on the card, which is more likely to be seen in Serbia than in North Macedonia, but not 100%.
Oh,
and
this
we
is
are
wallpaper.
somewhere in Patagonia.
Wallpaper location, look at this.
Yes. It is
Beautiful.
pretty. We have Eamonn here on the Chile side, as well as Arno with the white Google car.
Is this a special route? Like this road in particular?
No.
No?
There
Okay,
are
I was
two-
the fact that he was already looking to line
Well,
up the road.
the general region, yes, but it just looks... There are just way too many pretty roads down there to say this one is recognizable because
Okay, fair enough,
all of
fair
them
enough.
look pretty in their own ways.
Eamonn very quickly looked for the specific roads and whatnot as we go into yet another beautiful location for different reasons. We're out in the fields as, yeah, I mean, this could be, honestly, northern Germany. Could be Denmark too. I'm not seeing any bullets. I feel like
Yes.
Denmark has more bullets more often. But you know what, Arno? Anytime you
that-
get a Denmark guess in, I'll
that-
smile.
I would say the same applies to Germany. You get bollards on every round, on
Yeah,
every
so-
road. But overall, I would say the round looks like Germany or surrounding.
It was Denmark.
Yes. Is that-
Wow.
Okay, that's not border. It's like all the way southeast there. Interesting.
Huh.
Yeah,
I knew.
pretty
Better
hard.
Denmark than me, confirmed. First the 5K said, now it gets in a round where I don't even know where it is. Damn.
We have a pretty straightforward round here. We are in the mountains of Bhutan. Those pines are very commonly found all over Bhutan. We have the grey Google car as well to confirm it. And we are just north of Thimphu there.
I like how this is very similar to the previous game where early on, Eamonn takes a big hit and then Anu gets a hit, but he just starts clawing back, getting back into the game. And then, obviously with the previous one, he was able to come out victorious. We'll see if Anu can now maintain this lead as he's 2,700 points ahead.
Indeed. And we are in Oceania. To make a safe call, we have yellow signposts, which you see in Western Australia. I did not think of Western Australia off the bat, but I would believe the yellow signpost. However, these are green. Oh, they are attached to lamps, okay. Because the one in the distance to the south was yellow. And with how green it is, yeah, I like more of the southern part of Western Australia. We have Arno a bit more inland. Eamonn is all the way on the coast. This will be big points.
It sure will. 3 times multiplier as well. Maybe Eamonn can swing back right after Anu got ahead. We'll see if that's going to be the case or not. And indeed, it will be.
that.
5K for Eamonn. Big damage.
72 meters.
Wow.
And Eamonn strikes back, almost getting his lead as well. And we are in Japan here.
You know what? Let's see, Anu. If you can do Denmark that well, I'm sure you can do Japan equally well too.
Well, it looks like we have a Kyushu pole top. It looks like it. It's pretty hard to tell, but if it is, then we should be in southern Japan, and we have Eamonn indeed in Kyushu. I want to say, yeah, that pole top, that extending pole top with the hole on top of it is something you see a lot in Kyushu. The big southern island of Japan. But Ano is also pretty far in the south. I don't know if he is in Kyushu or just close to it. It's pretty hard to tell.
Let's see. Big distance between the two. And once again,
Yep.
not liking that one. It's got to hurt extra when it's on home soil. As now Ano, despite being up 2,800 points just 2 rounds ago, now he's sat at just over 1,000 health. Half health of Eamonn, who is now getting yet another round in Australia.
Are back in Western Australia as well, I want to say, with this landscape. Plus the red Google car, also very commonly found along these roads leaving
He's
Perth.
just leaning back now. Ano is not happy. I mean, Eamonn 5K'd in this area.
But he should be fine here. They are both right on top.
I hope so, but 4
with
times
their
multiplier.
guesses.
Okay, close to one another.
Gonna be, what, 100 points or something?
Yeah,
No, not
minimal.
even 56.
Minimal at that, but scary nonetheless. You can see Ano, I mean, it just doesn't feel like he is playing with the same confidence that he was before right now. The guest came in there, it's like, not really,
Not at
not
all.
really too pleased.
Nope, he has the pressure on him now. Interesting location. We have a lot of these birches.
In before, this is somehow Denmark too. Not that I think so.
Oh,
Just without
could
without
be the
things have played out
Nordics.
so far.
don't know about these road lines.
We definitely have
I like
those
the
road
Poland
lines in
guess.
Denmark.
Is it a double white line?
No, it's white on one side, half on
Okay,
the other,
yeah,
showing
okay.
where you can take over.
Yeah,
Or overtake.
that's what I
guess
thought.
it's
But
called.
the mixture of those Baltic pines and birch trees makes me think Poland might
Poland
be a
Plunk with
good
1100
guess.
health at 4.5 times multiply. I feel like that's dangerous. He's going Romania, he's going Poland, I mean, they're all over the place right now.
I mean, it doesn't look like the average Poland road. I want to say, like the road quality, the road how it's built doesn't look like Poland, but the vegetation
Let's
would
see.
fit.
one is south of center, one is north
Yes.
of Ano. Oh, happy with that one. He's going to be able to stay
Definitely.
alive. And not just that, he's going to be able to take it all the way. Wow. I knew the multipliers were high, but I did not imagine that one doing 2,500 damage.
He gets the win of region guessing Poland.
Wow.
That is
And they were
insane.
both all over the place in that round, too. Big turnaround for Ano now. Going into an NPC, let's see who has the momentum going their way.
Not an easy one, for sure. We have
Is it
summer
Macedonia
coverage. This is Bulgaria. If you combine a rusty guardrail with a bad quality pavement and summer coverage, you will very, very, very yeah, you would just guess Bulgaria and you will probably be right.
Well, they did, and they were right. So maybe there's meanings to the madness. 92
I don't
damage done. I feel like this is the least damage we'll ever see in an NPC round.
Yeah. And let's see what round 2 is. I wish I could get a better look on that pole.
I'm sure the
So I
players do
can
too.
make a less embarrassing shout here. I want to say, I mean, on a
Ano's
dirt
in
road like
Argentina.
this and a very flat landscape, yeah. It's pretty much, countries that are possible here are Argentina, South Africa. Yeah, that's pretty much it. With
Yeah.
this foliage and the flat landscape. And with that pole having a leaner on it, I want to say Argentina is more likely.
Eamonn is readjusting a bit. Seemed like he was going a bit further north with his guess. Right on the
Yeah, it
border.
doesn't look too far north because it's a bit more dry.
Ano is even further up
You
there.
barely see any trees, therefore I like Eamonn's guess.
Let's see. Some distance in between the two. 1 second left to work with. Micro adjustments being done there in the end of it. And, well, I mean, for Eamonn, that only got him closer to the target. It was down there for a round 2. That's 2,000 damage done.
Yep, definitely a tricky round, but at the same time, if you think it through, it makes sense to be somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And now we have... Do we have front plates? It looks like we don't.
Doesn't look like it to me.
So
but I also only have 3
is an
pixels
option.
to work with.
Yes. Winter coverage is interesting because I didn't see winter coverage in Pennsylvania before.
Michigan, liking that much more?
I like that more in terms of the season. Michigan has winter coverage. We definitely see some snow laying around there, right? On the left.
Seems like Eamonn and Ohio,
like
they're both
that.
hovering
But
around.
we rule out Canada here, right?
I mean, you tell me, you're the expert.
Okay. No, I think it's the US, but very hard to region guess here. I like Michigan with the snow coverage, but
See what we're getting.
We
Last
have-
second readjustments once more, and it's the north side of Detroit. So, needed hit. Swing back there for Mano. Keeping Eamonn humble. Down under 5,000 health he goes. As we take it into round number 4.
gotta respect him for trusting the winter season there. And now we are, again, pretty far south in Argentina. We have some mountains. Looks a bit wintry, again. Pretty hard to tell along these Andes where you are, because a lot of these towns look similar. What you do have to know here is where you get the mountain ridge to the northeast, because that shouldn't happen in too many towns, so you can rule out a couple. So if you know your terrain, which Eamonn does.
The almost 5k to win the game. I think
wow.
Anna was as surprised as we were on that one. Like, Eamonn, what are you on, mate? How do you know that?
I mean, yeah, that's an Eamonn moment. He, especially on no move and NPC as well, he's giving us those 5Ks to nearly 5Ks. I count that one as a 5K.
Oh,
Come
wait,
on.
for sure. For sure. 189
it's-
meters
yeah.
off.
In
NPC.
That's a 5K in my eyes. So therefore, yeah, very impressive guesses from Eamonn overall. Very deserved win. But again, not a easy matchup at all. It got all the way to the end. It got to NPC. It got pretty far distance into NPC.
Insane.
But in the end, Eamonn was correct when he had to be correct.
Absolutely insane. Let's go. You know what? I would love to sit around and break down this game, but we have the next game ready as we speak. So let's get ready for Feneb versus Flyme. But oh wow, what a way for that mount to finish off Eamonn. I mean, the 5k, even in no move, like little or not NPC, but no move, that would have been an impressive round. But we take it straight into the next one. Feneb versus Flyme. Talk to me a bit about these players.
We do indeed. We have Feneb versus Flyme. Feneb, a very great moving player. If not one of the best moving players out there, Feneb is known to be great at it. Can't really show it in his win rate here. The stats are pretty low win rate wise, so that's
We look at the players they're going up against.
Interesting to see, but nonetheless, it could be an interesting matchup.
Definitely could be. We'll see if Feneb has it in him to take out Flyme, or if Flyme can turn this one around. He's a bit further down the leaderboard right now. Flyme, that is, so would want to get some points off of this matchup. We go straight into it, into game number 1.
Interesting head from Feneb there.
I like
the first thing I noticed before looking on the round. Now we look where we are. Okay, it looks like we are in Sweden. We have those Swedish signs. We have the red Google car as well. We have some information. That's a long word.
That means insurance.
Okay. What is this bus stop? Is it a Stockholm bus stop? It looks like it. We have Feneb in Stockholm.
Bad guess.
I think it is a Stockholm bus stop.
Premier League? We gotta be in the UK. No, I'm kidding. Guys, it's just a bus sign. Don't get baited.
Yeah, but we have them both in there, and it is indeed.
Outside of Stockholm it is. Down towards one of the trillion islands that Sweden has to offer. As Flyme off to a good start. Unluckily for him, so was Feneb. Just 12 damage done.
Indeed, and this looks like the US. I wanna say it could be Maine. All the way northeast. Now, if I would have to explain why, I would simply
Yes,
say
you would.
because it looks like it.
Ah,
Which you
what
always,
an in-depth analysis.
which
Thank you, expert.
always love to hear. It looks like
So what
it.
you're saying is that you're vibe guessing Maine. There's
Pretty
no
much.
direct
It's
reason, no
big-
specifics.
No, it's pretty much the mountains, the green mountains, foliage. The trees looks
Flyme.
a bit more northern, but we should be in the US. We have some corn here. That's interesting.
It's gonna go West
So
Virginia.
maybe we aren't that far northeast with corn, because I don't think I've ever seen corn in Maine.
Well, both
But
them around
it
down
was
there. It was
northeast.
further north in New York State, but both of them equally far off. Means once again minimal damage being done here. Flyme though, able to keep his flawless going, although it might not matter much because it's just by 108 points.
Nope.
But we'll see if it stays afloat as we go to Indonesia.
We will see indeed. We should be in East Java. Now I also have an explanation.
Oh.
Because we have tile
it looks
roofs
like it?
will put you into Java, and then we have a asymmetrical pole, which you see more in East Java. And we have them both in East Java in Surabaya. And yeah, that's the two clues you need. But of
Well,
course
good.
they also had some good information.
As close as can expect it to be in a round like this. As we move on to the next one. Again, I mean, they're playing very equally, very much. I mean, the fact that we're into round 4 and neither of them have taken over 200 damage, and barely even 100, that is pretty impressive, to say the least. Maybe this round will give us a bit more damage, though.
I don't think so, because
Oh,
we
there's
had
a big info, yeah. I see.
We had McKay on the sign, therefore they will already probably know the rough region. Now you have to find some more information. I really like Feneb sign there. That's something you love to see after you have a region guess down. You like
like
to
you got a
see those
5K
towns that are just 10-15 kilometers away to get really
10Ks?
close, but
Any
they
10Ks in the
both
chat?
get
I
there
think there
in
are.
the end. And still no 10k animation. That is sad
But you know
to
what? We have
see.
the emote in chat. If you're sub, get that 10k going, because that's the first one of the day. We didn't get a single one in the last 2 weeks either, at least not in the
Let's go.
broadcast that we were covering. So thank you for the 10ks throwing in there.
That's lovely to see, and I hope I get a little bit of 10k emote spam in the chat. And we move over to this round in Finland, and again we have some good signs. They will probably both get the region down again, given that the town is pretty far away. So you would assume you find it quick. We also have a road number. I couldn't really catch it because Feneb was penning a bit too fast.
Get 63 and 68 lining up. I think Feneb might be lining up back-to-back 5ks here.
Yeah, off-road to
He's found the city.
Järvi.
He's right next door. This might be it.
Yeah, but we
I mean, Flyme is yet to even zoom in, so he's definitely not found it. But I think Feneb might go back-to-back on his 5ks here. We'll see. Indeed, he will. 2 meters off. Holy Feneb. It's the hat magic. I'm telling you. It is the hat magic. Back-to-back 5ks for Feneb.
Indeed. And we have a single yellow line, which you commonly found in Canada with no front plates. You consider Alberta, Saskatchewan, or Quebec with these looks. Out of those 3, yeah, when I say it could be Quebec. Now we hope to find some language to confirm it. And we do.
Yeah.
It's also saying alright. So, yeah, we should be in Quebec. As expected, but at the same time, a state, or a province, I should say, that is very hard to region guess.
Too big a place, especially with a 3.5 times multiplier that you really dare to get those guesses in too fast, especially for Flyme.
But
Even
we have water
the other
here.
one.
Right south of us. Big bodies of water are always a very good thing to find, because that will rule down a lot of the regions. But still a lot of regions with big body watch. To the south, this could have been
I mean, this could have
insane.
been game. Had any one of them.
It could have been game, yes. I was calculating it through, it could have been game.
Definitely could have, and maybe it should have.
But
It's not oftentimes you get a chance to get your opponents like this. As we go to, is this Sweden again?
Gatan?
Yeah, it is. Or it's that
Looks like
Beatty
it.
place in Finland where they also write everything in Swedish.
But then they probably have it in both languages?
You would have to imagine, yeah. It
Probably.
would be weird.
Therefore, I hope it should be Sweden. We have
Lot
some
of
road
info
numbers
to be
right
obtained.
there for both of them. So let's see who can use that one quicker.
56, 72, 254.
Mhm.
A lot of info to be had. We found 56 on one, I believe. Now you have 72 as well. Flyme is going to log it in. Has 2 of the 3 roads. That should be enough to go by.
Yeah, so ideally you wanna scan for the 2-digit numbers first and then find the 3-digit number, because it will probably show up later on the map.
There you go. In the right city. 300 meters off. Not a 5K, sure. But yet another good round for Feneb as he strikes hard once more. Issue is, I mean, Flyme is getting a lot of the same rounds in here as well. So he's keeping up pretty good pace.
Definitely, definitely. And we should be in the United Arab Emirates. With those palms and the sandiness, the poles, everything given.
It's Dubai sand.
Dubai sand shoe. I don't think we are around Dubai. With those mountains, you should guess as far away from Dubai as possible.
You'd
It's
have to imagine.
usually more in the north of the country or in the east, or yeah, those are the areas where you get more mountains
Then
like
out
this.
into a more of an urban landscape pretty quickly. Flyme is still stuck on dirt roads.
Yeah,
So
we should
less
be
info
somewhere in
for him
the
to go by.
east, I would assume. Do we have them both in the east? Flyme going a bit further south towards the pocket.
Mountain House is where Feneb is setting up shop. We'll see who gets the bit of it. Once again, Feneb on point. Yeah, but still, I mean, yes, of course, UAE isn't the biggest place, and they both have the region down,
No.
but just his precision in these rounds is incredible.
Yeah, definitely Feneb playing as expected. Very good on this moving game. And we are in Russia. We have that blurry antenna, which you see a lot around the Euros. A good hedge for that is UFA.
So a big thing that we haven't mentioned yet, of course, it is round 9 of 10. Should this game be tied by, should no player be eliminated by the end of round 10, it's the player who has the most health left that wins the round. That is the final round of this one. So for Flyme right now, he would love to see some big points coming off of Feneb here, so that at least coming into the last round, it could be tied, or even, preferably for him, I guess, with him ahead.
Yeah. This should be somewhere in the triangle of Perm, Kazan, and Ufa. We have Flyme right in the middle of those 3 cities that I've mentioned, so I'd like to see that
indicator.
guess. Whereas Feneb is committing a bit more to the east, committing all the way up northeast to Perm.
Ooh, 5 times multiplier. It's gonna be Feneb closer once again, but even then, Flyme stays within reach. Issue is, now we get into that 10th round, and somehow Flyme needs to find 4,000 damage, or he will lose this round. Or this game, I should say.
And this off the bat looks like the Kruger National Park in South Africa. Again, I can't explain why. It just looks
No.
like it. If you've seen it a couple times, then you know
They're
how the
both
Kruger
there, yeah.
National Park looks like.
And that's the
But
issue for
we
Flyme
also
right
jump.
now. He knows that if he knows it instantly, so will Feneb. And not only will Feneb be closer, but even had he not been, I mean, there's no world in which Flyme gets 4,000 damage onto Feneb in that. So you really can't come into round 10 that many points behind, relying on a big country with minimal info to come through. But, I mean, having said that, back-to-back 10Ks for Feneb. Almost had a third one in there as well in one game. He is really playing well today. Now, some of the locations might have been on the easier side. Some, I say. Not all. But still, for Feneb, I mean, he's playing incredible right now.
Yeah, there's nothing Flyme could have done better because
Yeah,
Feneb
true.
was always either on it or just right outside the correct city. So therefore, I would say there's nothing you can do than to move over and show what you can do on no move.
Exactly. No move is where we are. As we go into round number 1, full health on both parties. Multipliers sat back down to 1, so we stay calm, at least for a bit of it, as we go to the US here.
Yes, hopefully. We have a .com domain, which isn't the most helpful one. But
That's how you know.
because we have Feneb in Ontario, I think because of the road angle. But I don't think it's Canada. I think it should be the US.
Let's see. 5 seconds to work with. They're going to let this one run all the way down to 0. And, well, yeah, both in and around the right area. But once again, it's Flyme closer. I mean, I feel like for... Feneb closer. I feel like for Flyme, he's been good in his assumptions. It's just Feneb taking those 3 extra seconds to get the exact location down. He's practically unbeatable right now.
Yeah, and then again, Flyme could have maybe put the pressure on him because Feneb
Yeah,
was originally in
true.
Canada, in Ontario. He was scanning some grids over there. It looked good. The road lined up very well, but he did decide to make the switch for his good because he gained some points of that, and now we are in Chile. With this vegetation, I would assume we are somewhere around Puerto Montt.
I do feel bad for Flyme. We've had so much Argentina today, and now when it's his turn, he doesn't get any.
True. That is true.
Maybe the neighboring country will still come in handy for him.
Could be, but we have those. That's not really cabbage, but it looks like cabbage. Those that are growing right next to us along the road. Those you see a lot around Puerto Montt and more south of it. Therefore, we do see Feneb guessing over there. Flyme disagrees, goes a bit more north.
Ooh, big costly mistakes being made there. Good thing for him that it's only round 2, because that would have been game anywhere past round 5.
Definitely. That's definitely something you should know, especially in a country like Chile. Because it's a long stretch of a country where those little clues can give you a lot of points. And Feneb did make good use of that. Now we should be in the Po Valley, Northern Valley of Italy. The architecture looks Italian. It is very flat.
Both practically on top of one another right now in their guesses, but I mean, the story remains the same.
No,
Even when they're both in the nearby vicinity, Feneb comes out victorious.
Just can't break the flawless.
Nope.
Feneb still on that sweet 6k health.
Let's see now. Maybe here we get a strike back from Flyme.
It is possible they zoomed immediately on some text before I could get a good look on the location. Is it Indonesia? We have some water there to the west. Could be the Nusas in Indonesia. I am not certain about it.
You know what? I like to
Also
hear that.
Not a lot of
Sweet music to my ears when Kilotris is in doubt. Hopefully for the sake of Flyme, so is Feneb. He's gonna go north in this one, but Flyme is staying over towards the main island.
Ooh,
Oh, one of the many main islands, I suppose.
Yeah, it's on the Sumatra island, and we have a Sulawesi. I like the Sulawesi guess
big.
more because I thought it's around there or the Nusas where you get more of this dry coverage.
Let's see if he gets it. Neither
And
of
it's a
them get it,
mountain.
and Feneb! There goes the flawless, my man, and a big cost at that too. Nice big swing for Flyme to climb back
Definitely.
into this one.
Wow, that was a very unusual button round. But then again, coastal locations can be a bit tricky.
Yeah,
They just look different.
proved to be there as well. Now
And
Flyme, all
now
for
we
that
got
big
the
round coming his way.
Argentina for Flyme that we were praising for. Is he happy about it?
We'll see.
I can't tell it from his face expression, but maybe from his guess. And Feneb is committing all the way north.
And that's the issue, right? I mean, when you give Feneb those 15 extra seconds. I mean, Flyme was incredibly fast, and even for, I guess, in his home country, unless you know exactly where he is, you can't really expect one to be completely on point, and I guess that quickly.
No, not really. And we move over to India. And is it true? We have some English. Line Hotel. Therefore I like the northeastern guess from Feneb there. Because there's a lot of English in that area of India. Can't really tell the polls. But as I've already told earlier on the Zigzag game, where I said usually for the northeast you have more clues.
Yeah, all the way east of
I think we have them here now. Flyme not committing all the way to the other side, but West Bengal is also something I did consider. So I could see either side, but we should be somewhere around Bangladesh.
Let's see if he's gonna get it. He's not. That's gonna be big.
Feneb
it's gonna be too big. It's
right
going to
on
be
it.
Feneb on point again. What a game for him. I gotta get something real quick. 1 second.
Yes, he played insanely well. I mean, what's there for Flyme to do? Of course, he had some little blunders, but Feneb just didn't allow him to make any use of that, and was just overall way too consistent for Flyme to win that one.
Else good, else can be. Else impressive, else you can expect when you have a man that is throwing in this many style points in a single game. Not only does he get the back-to-back 5Ks, but his consistency was... I mean, he could have gone up against pretty much anyone on this entire leaderboard and come out with a victory in this one.
Yeah, with the way he played, that was just very hard for anyone to beat. Feneb really played out of his mind. Was it the hat?
I've never felt better at GeoGuessr than I do right now. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe this is what I have to do from now on.
Now you have to imagine Feneb was holding his head straight for the whole game. That I would say that's a handicap.
That's what I mean. Yeah, no neck movement. Maybe that's what it is. You're just gonna stay in place the whole way through.
And still managed to play like that. Therefore, congrats to Feneb.
You know, maybe that's what it is. I mean, you have Blinky with the beanie, you have Feneb with the hat. What are we gonna see next? I'm curious to see how the hat meta is gonna evolve here amongst GeoGuessr Pro players. As we now get into our next matchup, it is Spaghet versus V89.
Yes, we get to see Spaghet. The stats are 36% win rate, 46% precision, and 40 seconds guess time. You can take a nap in that time while he's
almost twice as fast.
And now you see on the other hand, V89 with only 22 seconds. I mean, we have seen him playing earlier. If he is confident, if he knows where it is, you better believe he sends it immediately.
Yeah, that's that's polar opposites of playstyles we're seeing here, and you'd have to, in that sense, give the upper hand to V89. But then again, when you have a player like Spaghet that A, brought down Blinky last week, and B, I mean, those 15 seconds, sometimes that can be all you need. So for V89, I feel like he has to be really on point with his quick guessing here if he wants to take out Blinky based on his playstyle.
Definitely.
Oh, sorry, Blinky, Spaghet, I mean, sorry.
Yep. I don't know, like, V89 probably looked into his matchup for this week and he saw he's facing Spaghet. If he looked into the stats and knows Spaghet is a slow-paced player, I don't know if that will tempt V89 to guess even quicker, because he knows that's not something he likes to see. Because that's definitely something that happens a lot, where people adjust their playstyle depending on who they are playing against. So in this case, it could be handy for V89 to guess even quicker if he is already known for it. But in this case, they are looking for some more information, because we start off in a big country in the United States. We are looking for area codes here, and Spaghet has one.
Let's see, both in and around the same area, both in and around the same location, but not quite there. A little bit off towards the southwest, as we were all the way up towards Fort Knox. But a pretty calm start, nonetheless,
Definitely,
to kick this one off.
And in this case, V89 did definitely do the right play to move it out and not send it immediately.
You saw Spaghet look at the
Yes.
writing on the antenna or the pole there. Is there crucial info like in Japan? The Japan rounds, are there any good info to get based on the polls?
The polls will give you the rough region,
Okay.
but besides that, not really. But yeah, there are a couple. There are actually a lot of pole metas in Brazil. I don't know them too well,
Ooh.
but
Good
in
round
this
for Spaghet
case,
here.
yeah,
Really good round. Round 2.
that was
2600 damage done, and I mean, this is where V89, I mean, he gave Spaghet the time to find the correct location, and it comes to cost him, so maybe we'll see him now change up the pace.
definitely. But at the same time, I would assume with the 15 seconds you give him, even after intercepting,
enough.
I think Spaghet would have found it anyway, because it didn't look like he got there in the last second. He was pretty confident with the region guess. And now we have this car with the cable over it. I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
If you wanna have the difference between Oman and UAE, you can tell it from the car, and they both know it, of course. However, it's very hard to region guess in Oman.
Is
where
it a
on
desert,
the span you
or
are.
is it a desert? Who's to
Yeah,
say? It
because
was, in fact,
it's-
a desert.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how it goes in Oman. You have some mountains in the north, some mountains in the south, and everything in between is just, I don't know. It is not long out for too long now, so maybe there is something players have overlooked and not really
You heard it here
researched
first,
enough.
chat. If you want to create Oman meta, you have a chance to get in on that game right now.
So get on it.
Yeah?
I wouldn't be surprised, because especially a country like Japan, looking back 2 years earlier, no one knew what to do on Japan. And now we found out so many matters about it that it really changed it. And we have Debre.
I'm not gonna say anything this round. This is all you, man.
I thought we are like northeast of Isparta somewhere, but which is like southwest in the country, or central southwest, I should say.
This is all you. It's
Yeah,
5K
like
for me.
Spaghet. Yep, he has it. It's there.
It's there. He knows it. He knows exactly
right
where it
on
is.
it. And
He actually is too.
that is
Wow.
532 meters. And that's
Pseudo
almost
5K.
with a 5K, that could have been game. If he didn't insta-send, I mean, of course he tried to get the pressure on, but
That's the first time I've
if
ever
he
heard anyone
took
say
the-
Spaghet gets too fast.
he did indeed in this case need the 2 more, no, not 2 seconds, but maybe 5 seconds to
Yeah?
region guess where you are.
Line it up probably. Both of them insta-guessing on that one. I like how Spaghet tried to apply pressure, but V89 just went back to his usual play style of playing it quick as well. As we now go into round number 7. As we go into the open.
We
Good
are
info to be had, Mio.
indeed, we are in France. We have the road number, which will not help you here. However, the vegetation looks a bit more western. I am not too sure though. Pretty hard to region guess. They
How come
do
this road number
try.
won't help you? N149, is there just too many of them?
I mean, it is helpful, but you would have to scan for a long time to find
Ah,
it.
okay. Okay, gotcha. But hey, here we go.
So-
Spaghet out victorious, takes V89 out in pretty good fashion. Not gonna lie, it was very very solid all the way through. Not really anything big. I think a lot of people have or had V89 coming into this matchup as the not clear winner, but at least the upper hand in this matchup. But here we are. Spaghet out 1-0 as we go into no move.
Definitely. And we do move over B89. I mean, both not really known to be moving players, honestly, so maybe this could be more interesting when they get to no move, which is their original playstyle, and we have a guest from B89 in the mountains of Cordoba. But so is Spaghet. They are both on it. I like it.
You too. Let's see. I just agree with everything you say, Joe. Just that's how it works. You can throw me to the completely wrong countries, and I'll go there with you, my man. That's unless if it's Denmark, then I'm there.
Okay, I'll leave the Denmark routes to you. That's fair.
As we see here, V89.
I might just shout Odense on every single round. Therefore, I will let you make some region guesses.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
We are in a pretty dry New Zealand here, which, yep, makes you think more the South Island, Central South with these mountains. Yep, shouldn't be too many points. They will both end up there. And there's a little bit of that towards the north here as well. But I think where they both guessed is way more coverage like this, where you have those dry mountains.
Yeah.
That you are passing through, and we are in South Africa here, maybe. We have a sign that's for left-hand driving, so yeah.
I feel like, I mean, this might just be me thinking too much into it, but now here as well, I mean, 12 seconds before the guess comes through from V89. I think obviously there was limited info to go by in this round, but even then, I feel like last week in particular, we saw V89 guess within 5 seconds, almost half the rounds.
Yep, definitely. I mean, we had those pine forests there, which you see a lot around Eswatini, but it doesn't hurt to double check, because you have those forests a bit further south as well in the country. And here...
It's more what we're used to.
I think Thailand makes sense, maybe a bit more east because it looks like Cambodia. The reason why it's not Cambodia is because if you don't see anything of the Google car, it should be Thailand, more likely.
Both close once more. It's going to be V89 closer, though, back into the speed that we have been grown accustomed to seeing the young Finn play. As he currently sits with a 500-point lead, but not really anything to write home about coming into round 5. It's been a very even game, this one, thus far. Even when one player has come up victorious, the other one has been right next to him.
It has indeed, and we are in Brazil. Pretty... It's hard to get a vibe here because this soil looks like the Misiones soil in Argentina, so we could be maybe somewhere around that. But at the same time, I thought we are northeast. Don't ask me why.
I will ask you why.
I just have the vibe for it.
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
Yeah,
vibe guessing
most
F1
likely
people
to be
so
around Piranha. Yeah, I like the Piranha guess. Again, that is around Misiones, so
let's see if they're both gonna get it right. When they're in the same area, usually they will be, and indeed here they are as well. But once again, I mean, 33 damage. They really are running shoulder to shoulder right now. Spaghet, of course, has the upper hand. He won the move ring round, but right now there's no way of saying who's gonna get the upper hand in the grand scheme of things here in no move.
Nope, and this could be interesting. Again, we had a short plate, which puts you mostly in the Americas. Then, by the looks, foliage, it should be either Canada or the US. I don't know if that plate was... Yeah, I like the Vermont guess because I think I saw some green tint on the plate. But also the looks fit, therefore...
Yeah.
I can see it being Vermont
It's
or
the
New
smallest
Hampshire.
things that can make a difference. Was it the green tint? Well, not that got him here, we won't know, but one thing's for sure. We stay tied up. Just 30 points between the two. I mean, I'll make that 29 even. That's... this is pretty incredible, considering the fact that we're already in round 9. No one's under 5k yet.
Nope.
Oh, round 7, sorry.
Okay, we are in round 7, but I have the feeling we will get to round 9 with how they play so far.
Definitely.
Therefore, I don't blame you for thinking we are in round 9 already. It feels like it. They just plunk on top of each other on every round. Let's see what's happening here. Kind of looks similar like the other Thailand round we had, where it turned out to be further north. That was also in V89's game, but this time he doesn't commit.
Let's
see. Let's see.
Both sat next to each other once more, and both almost equal distance to the target.
Happen again.
It's insane. They're I mean, they're just in agreement on practically all guesses coming their way, and that's where you think back to rounds like this one in particular. I mean, that's where you could have separated yourself, you know? But right now, still sat very, very close to one another.
Yes, and I wouldn't be surprised if they both know the road here. We are in Ecuador, and it looks pretty dry open. Is this the E40? Yeah. E40 or E30?
Stay down there,
closer
Spaghet.
road there. Yeah. Yep, I would have guessed on that road too. because it is a very recognizable road in this country.
We're right next to
With
Buenos
how
Aires.
dry and how open it is. But that's what I was talking about earlier when we were switching over from the moving game to the no-move game, where I said in no-move I feel like they have the both play style and that's more what they play, and we just gotta prove how they pretty much play the same here.
I mean, this is the result of two players effectively playing flawlessly. At least in comparison to the matchup they're going into. I mean, obviously damage has to come through unless if they're just hitting actual ties all the time. But round 9, both over 5k still. This is an insane match with these two players just constantly on point with their guesses. And we'll now see. Maybe this one is going to start hurting. We had 5 times multipliers, but it really doesn't feel that way considering what we've seen so far. Now, one quick question to New Zealand. But of course, Spaghet is instantly there to follow.
Yes, they are not too far from each other. However, with 5 times damage, if someone's on it, that can be game.
And coming into round 10 as well, you really want to get some separation. Let's see who's going to get the better of this one. It's going to be Spaghet.
It goes for Spaghet.
On point in this one. It's not going to be enough, obviously, for that. But coming into round 10 now with a 2,500 point lead made from that hit in round 9. This is going to require a big one for V89 to win. And honestly, this... Unless if I'm not seeing something special, this could be big.
This will definitely be...
Yucatan?
Game. I would say so, yes. Those trees look very Yucatan. So.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a very important round on round 9
won him the game.
To get those points in New Zealand.
What?
He was probably hoping for a small country after that, but we will also take a recognizable Yucatan. Therefore...
That is one of the weirdest matches I've ever casted in GeoGuessr. The fact that, I mean, had that big hit not come in, we could have had a loser in round 10 lose the game with over 5,000 health still.
Yes, and
that is not something we see too often.
I've seen a screenshot yesterday.
Wow.
It was some tournament hosted, I think from the Thailand community. I am not 100% sure. I just looked over it quickly. Yeah. But they did end up on the same score in the end, on the final round.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then it was, I think, who was closer on the last round.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be tiebreakers for
ending
everything.
up on the same score in the end is insane. And here we see the other scores as well. Or the other score, I should say. It's only one game. Yannick versus Shiina.
That is wild. Well, while this match was going on, or the previous ones, we can see Debre and Karania did get the internet issues sorted, so they were playing, and Debre came out 2-0 against Karania in that one. We got to cover Spaghet and V89. He wins 2-0. Shiina, in the meantime, 2-0 Yannick. So Japan having a great time here. And, well, we covered Spaghet once. Now we get to do it again, but this time around up against Kratsooo. And honestly, I mean... with how solidly Spaghet played this game against V89, even under the pressure of a fast player, Kratsooo will have to bring his A-game to take him home.
Definitely, and I mean, everyone in this league has to face Blinky at some point. And I feel like playing against Blinky is a very important game, because you would assume he just robs the 3 points from everyone. But if you're the one who beats him and gets those 3 points from him, which Spaghet did, it puts you in a very good spot. And coming back after that with 6 more points today is insane for Spaghet. It's a lot of points for him, very important points as well. And now he has Kratsooo to face though.
Yeah, it's going to be a good matchup. Before that, we're going to go to a break. But before that, I will mention to you, as you might know by now, that this World Cup for the year has been announced already. It's going to be in Copenhagen, August 29th to 30th. You can get your tickets now for the games at geoguessr.com/World Cup. So make sure to hop on over and secure your tickets and come to Copenhagen and watch the games with us. They will be exciting for sure. After the break now, we're going to see Kratsooo up against Spaghet. It's going to be a heavy-hitting matchup between these two titans of GeoGuessr. So stick around and we'll see you after this break.
Dear fans of GeoGuessr, it's time for us to explore the world. Come and support your favorite players as they fight it out in the virtual boxing ring. The prize? A ticket to the World Cup. This year's major locations are Japan, inside the iconic Tokyo Tower. United States at DreamHack Dallas, one of the largest gaming festivals in the world. And finally, Sweden at the newest gaming festival, Glitched, in Jönköping. Go to geoguessr.com/World Cup for more information. We will see you there.
Just a couple of matches left here for us today in the first bracket, but fear not, there is more GeoGuessr to be played later on here today. As you saw just before the break came through, we hope you got your snacks and your drinks ready for this next matchup, because it's going to be a big one. Gelotrus, it's going to be Spaghet versus Kratsooo. I know you've gone up against them both in tournaments past. Talk to me, for the newcomers that just got in now, a bit about these two players.
Yeah, Kratsooo is a very, very, very good moving player. I mean, the French community is known for that, for being good at moving, but especially Kratsooo, I feel like is also a very strong moving player. We have a win rate of 48%, where Spaghet is sitting on 38. Therefore, he has the lead there. And especially with moving being the first game mode these players play, I feel like if Kratsooo gets that down, that's also a good mental boost, a good momentum you have to get that first game out of your way. And as we can see, they are both on 39-second guessing time. So in those terms, they are very equal. So they both like to take their time and make sure their guesses are correct.
And of course, important to mention as well that Kratsooo sitting ahead right now, but with 3 games less played. So even more important, or even more impressively, I should say, that he's set up there in 18th place. It's rare that I plug my own Instagram situations like these, like official broadcasts, but arguably the best game of GeoGuessr I've ever had the pleasure of not only watching, but also get to cast was Kratsooo versus MK in the World Cup last year. You can hop over to my GeoGuessr, the name is _Toby, and watch it back there in like highlights, because that was wild. He was down to, I believe it was 20 or something points on the grand stage in front of thousands of viewers, and was able to pull off one of the most absurd comebacks of GeoGuessr history, really, especially in a scale like that. But That's who Kratsooo is, a man who can play under literally all kinds of pressure. And, well, here he is, up against Spaghet, who right now has got a whole lot good going for him. So maybe some of that pressure we just mentioned will be going up against him here. But you know what? What a start. Let's start it off with practically a 5k for Spaghet.
I mean, he is on 175 meters. On 175, it's a 50-50 whether you get a 5k or not. Because he's right on the edge, I think.
He was
I mean,
at
it depends on the map as well.
175 and 6 centimeters.
Yeah,
So,
it was something like that, probably.
Unlucky. Spaghet, maybe? I mean, after the matchup against V89 just before, he was like, you know what? I kind of like this fast play style. Let's see if we can get it done against Kratsooo, as that's exactly what he's going to start off with. And, well, Kratsooo instantly comes back and say, bro, you're going to give me 15 seconds? Sure.
Nope, he is not the right one to play with. He does not care about that at all. And as you already mentioned, he knows how to deal with pressure. And he just us. Very distinct looking road here. We have fall, winter coverage. It looks like November or something.
Yeah.
And it's hilly. I thought of like southeast of Novosibirsk somewhere. Could check out.
Quick again with the guesses here, trying to put pressure on, but once more, Kratsooo won't have any of it. And yes, I mean, Spaghet comes out victorious, but I think he had maybe hoped, especially with how close he got on his, I don't know, 4-second guess, had hoped that there would have been bigger points coming through for him.
Yeah, you don't see too many regions, given how big the country is, Russia. You don't see too many regions with mountains. And then on top of that, if you have this distinct looking season with all those yellow leaves, the late fall coverage or almost winter, you would expect them to know that. And now we are in Malaysia. We had some Chinese on the signs. But there are too many regions where they speak Chinese in Malaysia to really make use of that info.
Quick flick for Spaghet, sends him just south of Mocha. We'll see if...
Sarawak. We have Sarawak specific polls.
We've been over here a couple of times today already in two rounds in the Zigzag game account covered earlier. We were here as well, and Spaghet, wow. Considering how fast he was in the zoom in and then to be this close to the location, incredible guessing from the Japanese player.
Indeed. Also not very easy to region guess. Sarawak. It has been out forever. It got never recovered until recently. And it doesn't have too much coverage. But at the same time, somehow hard to learn. And it said ES on the mile marker, which means Espirito Santo. So we are in the state of Espirito Santo, and we have Spaghet right there. Kratsooo also quite around. They both end up.
Is this gonna be yet another of those games where we just speed run it into round 10 and then see what happens there? It feels that way.
We'll see. For now, until now, I want to say I can see some similarities to that game, yeah.
Round 6 already. This game is flying past us. Blink and you'll miss it. As Kratsooo quickly going down towards the southeast of Spain here.
Yes, we have a sign with a lot of information for Spaghet. I don't know if there's anything useful on that, though. Well, it's saying Centro something. Could maybe tell us the town name. But Kratsooo did lock it in. He is pretty committed because he's far southeast. I don't know if he made it based on anything. Ending up with his guess in Murcia. And
Finally,
picking up 1,281 points.
Yeah, some distance in between their guesses. Wasn't much, but of course we've been building up the multipliers for quite a while now. So 1,200 damage done to Spaghet sends him down 1,000 points lower than Kratsooo. As we now take it into round number 7 with Kratsooo in the lead.
Yes, and we are in Japan. We should be somewhere in the northern half with those pole tops. And the pole plays as well. Or is it Kanto? I don't think so. But as we see, they both inspect those poles because that's the best information source you have in Japan, really.
You'd like
the
to think
poles
that
are very good.
I mean, obviously
source
Japan
of
is a massive
information.
country, so you can't. It's not like me in Denmark where you can expect him to know everywhere. But you'd like to think that you don't want to give opponents too much time in a country of your own. But even more so, when a Japanese player takes 50+ seconds to get his guess in, that's gotta be because it's a pretty tricky location to figure.
Yes, I feel like he just wants to make sure he doesn't fumble it on his home country,
Yeah,
maybe.
that could be the case too.
But at the same time, Japan is just
wow.
very hard to reach and guess without information.
Yeah.
Like if you make it only based on foliage or terrain, it's very hard to reach and guess unless you're in Hokkaido. That's the only region that is recognizable, but besides that, it is very hard.
Well, here we go, round number 8. It's
Yes,
upon us.
we are.
Spaghet wants to get some points back here. He's still down by 1100, wanting to at least tie things up coming into round 9 and 10.
Yep, we are in India. It looks like Southern language on this poster we have on Spaghet's screen. Kratsooo moving back to the town, or did he just enter another town? I'm not sure. Don't think he had any information yet either. But at least he also got some language, which is very helpful to make a region guess in India. There's a lot of different languages.
Both towards the south. Down towards Bengaluru, but not quite there. But they are on each their side, and it's going to be Kratsooo closer once again, 400 kilometers off on the side of Spaghet. It's going to be enough to take him out. See Kratsooo there, fists jumping around heavy with that one.
Happy, and he is playing emotionally, that's for sure.
Of course.
We had some desk slams the other days, but on the other hand, if he's winning, he's also expressing it. Love to see that.
How very French of him.
We move over. That's true.
And that's a compliment, by the way. I
passionate.
love to see emotions on players. I think
They
that's
are passionate.
amazing.
So we have
What
a
are we
posted
working with?
sticker on the tree. Shout out to there's
The
Ziggy,
one sticker.
because he says that's always Pennsylvania. It's
If you
kind
have
of a meme
If you have a
meta.
yellow sticker on a tree, it's always Pennsylvania.
It's
You know,
kind
I'm
of a
gonna
meme
start-
meta.
I'm
It's a
gonna
meme
start
meta.
running around in Danish forest and just putting yellow stickers everywhere. We'll see what happens.
I mean, who knows?
But hey,
It is
he
Pennsylvania.
wasn't wrong. It was Pennsylvania. Maybe Kratz got to
Oh,
learn some of that
no.
meta.
Well, it is fake. Disclaimer.
Fake
Disclaimer.
meta that's just somehow working.
Don't fully rely
If
on
you
it.
ever
It
see a
worked this
yellow
time.
sticker, no, you heard it here first, everyone. Geologius has said that with 100% accuracy, if you ever see a yellow sticker on a tree, you're in Pennsylvania.
Yep, always. No, you gotta add Derzigi for that one.
Fair enough.
He's claiming that meta.
Fair, and he's
I'll give
throwing
it to him.
Yo, wow, he's throwing Siggy under the bus. Okay, see how it is.
I mean,
man.
it
See
worked.
how
I mean, it
is.
worked.
Yeah,
And
Kratz
that's
seemed a bit
interesting.
surprised by that one. I mean, massive round, of course, round 2, 3,000 damage at that, but even Kratz had his eyebrows raised on that one. I don't think he was expecting to end up being as close to the correct spot as he ended up being.
No, definitely not. And also Spaghet being all the way in the north in Argentina gives him good points. This is quite an interesting location. We are in Norway. I would say with this landscape.
Yeah.
We have those snow poles which you see in the Nordics. And in the Nordics you only see mountains in Sweden and Norway. But
That
with the
is
size
true.
of mountains, we
Never
should
go to
be
Denmark
in
if you see a
Norway.
mountain. As much
Nope,
as
we
Hollywood
shouldn't.
wants to prove you wrong.
Very hard to region guess this one. We see Kratsooo moving a bit further north, and it was even further north.
All
He's
the way
happy
north.
to make that switch because
Oh,
that
yeah.
will give him a good lead, putting down Spaghet to only 1.5k health.
Yeah, big
Left
round.
Only 3 rounds into the game.
Yeah, Spaghet needs to start clawing back in this one, unless he wants to get 2-0'd by the Frenchmen. We'll see if he gets a chance to here. Limited info to go by, but still, Kratsooo, at least initially, is going to go down towards Indonesia.
Yes, I like that guess. I feel like this could be in the nooses again. with those trees, the narrow road, driving through some hilly mountains. Hilly mountains. I guess mountains are always hilly. I've never seen flat mountains. Well, actually,
we have a lot of flat mountains in Denmark. We call them mountains, but they're like 20 meters tall.
Are table mountains called? I mean, is it fair to call them flat mountains?
One of the tallest points in Denmark is called the Sky Mountain, and it's 120 meters above sea level. So
that's insane. Those are scary.
So flat
numbers.
mountains do exist.
Those are scary numbers. But yeah, as I said, I like their Noosa's guesses here. However, which island it might turn out to be.
Okay.
It is East Noosa, and Spaghet is on it.
Yeah, we said Spaghet needed to start clawing back into this one, and indeed he does. A pretty big hit done towards Kratsooo, keeping him in check at least for now, coming into round number 5 as we go to Germany, I guess, with the bullets, no?
Indeed, yes.
Yay!
You can have similar bullets in Luxembourg, but with those signs we had in distance, those are German. Making a region guess in Germany. I mean, those houses look more western, maybe slightly northwest.
Northwest, yeah. I was gonna say remove the bullets, and this could be Denmark.
Yes.
So go up to the border, and you might not be too far off.
I think guessing somewhere between the Netherlands and Denmark works here, but it could also be a bit further south. So, yep, I think Kratsooo's making a safe hedge there, but so is Spaghet. They both guessed somewhere there, and it was indeed north. But
all the way up to
of course, pretty hard to commit that one.
Where they're currently building the longest highway tunnel ever made. The more you know.
Well, it's the longest ever. I knew they were building it.
I think it is the longest, like, underwater highway train tunnel ever made.
Wow.
As we now go to... Is this Austria with
Austria,
those bullets?
Indeed.
I guess you don't know my Austrian bullets.
Those are Austrian bullets, and they can... There's like this attachment on top, as you can see.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was looking
They
at.
pull those out in the winter seasons in case it's snowing, so you can still get guided along the road.
Smart Austria being
indeed.
smart. And we're all the way on the border.
That is basically Germany.
Yep. If not actually.
Yeah, I mean, with those bullets, I think we should be on
5
the other
meters,
side.
right around the corner is where the border was. We just couldn't see it.
I have seen some locations with spelling bullets here and there, so we never know.
I have a saying that when in doubt in South America, go Bolivia. Whenever I feel like the country just doesn't make sense, and I guess somewhere in Chile or Argentina, it always ends up being Bolivia. So I like the fact that we're seeing these players actively go Bolivia, because I don't think I've ever actually gone Bolivia in a guess before.
Oh, I mean,
what's the best Bolivia tell?
Brick buildings.
Brick buildings. We'll see if they get him. Indeed, they do, and it's Spaghet once again. Closer, and this one could actually be enough to get the win, and indeed it will be.
Came indeed. Wow, I did not expect that to be enough damage there.
Yeah.
But we are in round 7 already, and
4 times multipliers come in hard. Spaghet able to turn that one around as we now take it into NMPC.
Kratsooo will definitely look back at that game and think through his head why he didn't hatch that one.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't have lost by any means.
What are we seeing here? Green signs on the right side.
Well, it looks like Germany again. Or Poland.
Border
I'd say
territory,
the building
perhaps?
looks more
Kratsoo's
German.
going east side.
Yeah, like Germany close to Poland, or in general Eastern Germany. Could also be somewhere around Czechia.
Spaghet needs to get his monitor closed. Like, he has too deep a desk. You can see him kind of standing up in order to look at the monitor there. You need a smaller table, my man.
Yeah.
It was in fact in Germany, just a bit northwest of where Kratsooo ended up guessing.
Yeah, we had like a Fachwerkhaus. Very typical German architecture there on the left. I don't think you would see that in Poland. But besides that, it really did look like Poland, so can't blame him for that one.
Andorra? Oh, close there too, at least.
Yeah, I'm thinking through the round.
I was trying to think back. Did Kratsooo play the Andorra wildcard tournament last year?
No, I don't think.
No, I
he
don't
was
think he did,
on the
right?
wildcard, no.
I was just thinking maybe if he was there, then he would have had the upper hand. Having actually been to Andorra, he would know stuff. But not quite to be as he goes Bilbao
Shouldn't
instead.
be Andorra, but I like the Northern.
Ooh, Spaghet, you're in Germany, my man. What is he seeing?
No, those triangles do not exist in Germany. I don't
Spaghet,
think.
this could be over before it got started.
Yeah, very urban, and that's what I was talking about earlier. Those very urban environments can put off players very easily.
I mean, 1 or 2 more rounds into this game, and that would have been game
Yep,
over, Spaghet.
definitely.
You know what? If you're gonna get a bad guess and get it in round 2, then at least that way you stay alive.
And what are we looking at here? I don't like the fact that we don't see anything of the car.
No, I like it.
Because are we driving
Chaos.
left? Then? We can't drive left
Chat.
with this landscape.
1 in the chat if you
Um,
like to see chaos. 2 if you're like Geolotris and likes to be able to figure everything out.
Okay, they are guessing Russia, but shouldn't we see an antenna here, given that we drive on the right in Russia?
Maybe?
Maybe I'm just not seeing the antenna, because
I mean,
now I
there's
see
definitely
Spaghet
not an
going to
antenna on the
Canada,
screen.
which makes more sense without a car.
Ooh.
And so does
So-
Kratsooo. They both
Okay.
they
A
both
nice
realize
readjustment.
something is wrong with the car, because we are just either driving on the left in Russia or it is Canada. And
Let's
I would
see.
say being in Canada is more likely.
I mean, it's a dirt
But
road.
you
They can be
never
driving
know.
everywhere they want. But
They
they're both
could
in doubt.
be
You can see
dodging
Kratsooo is
some-
he's not happy with this. Neither of them commit Canada, and good
Okay,
thing they
what?
didn't.
Okay, I think the antenna might have just been hidden in the dirt.
Wow.
I think it was just...
They were both hovering. They were both looking to go,
Yes.
but that would have cost them the game.
Yeah. It was either blending in with the dirt, the antenna, or we were actually dodging maybe a pothole or something.
That's whoever we get to interview after this game. That's something we gotta ask. Like if they were feeling
Yes.
comfortable, how far away were they from actually going Canada instead? Because that was
Yep.
pretty close. As this one goes east side,
Okay.
Thailand. At least that's where Spaghet is heading early on.
Yeah, dry and flat. Does make sense to be in that region.
I'm just gonna say all of chat likes chaos too. I'm seeing them respond in chat now. I like you, chat. I like you a lot. We are the orchestrators of chaos. That's what we do. We'll get Geolotris to agree at some point. Don't worry. Well, that's
And
this.
we have another Oman round. It is a very flat desert highway. Which one is it?
Yeah.
I'm surprised they guessed that far north. Maybe there's a mountain ridge that I don't see. What are your pixels saying? Can you spot some mountains?
I can definitely make them up.
Okay.
But yeah, on the right side. On the far right, there's mountains.
Oh, I thought those are wires
There are
along those
wires, but
power
the wires are in
lines.
front of mountains.
Oh, okay. If we have a ridge to
Wait,
the
am I? Wait,
east-
chat, record this. Am I helping Geolotris with GeoGuessr? Is that what's happening right now?
Oh no!
Is
we
this
should
how it
switch the
feels to
roles.
be a mentor?
We should switch the
roles.
roles.
Let's see. They're both taking their
Yep.
time. It's 3 times
Well, if we
multiply,
have
so it makes sense.
mountains, yeah.
Up towards the north it was, right on the
Does
border.
make sense. It was
9
where
damage.
Kratsooo had his pin immediately, but kind of didn't commit, which is fair because you're all the way on the border there.
Let's see. Wow, we're just
But
going from... Like,
this-
I think we've had 3 trees in the last 3 rounds.
Yep, because we are in the same region again, but this time it should be UAE.
Wow.
I feel like. Maybe?
Back-to-back Peninsula games out
Not
here
sure.
in the desolate lands.
I would say this is the type of round where you can't really tell them apart easily. Maybe if you have a copyright. If it's 2024.
Too bad can't zoom.
Nope. I'm happy if I can make out a mountain ridge in the distance. That won't happen here, but by the looks, I want to say UAE is more likely, maybe?
I'll go Oman
Not
or
sure.
Mars.
Oman or Mars, yeah?
One or the other.
Okay. Both possible.
Both possible.
But
We'll
it looks
see.
at least.
No big points should come of this round, even if they're both way off. They're right next to one another in their guesses. So, yeah, it's Kratsooo closer.
Yep.
Actually, no, I mean 100. Some kilometers off, 1,000
Ooh.
damage done. With Spaghet being this low already, we are in dangerous territory now. 690 points for him to work with. And well, this one could decide whether he's going to go away with 1 or 2 points.
Ooh, this is something. Well,
Talk
I
to me.
will tell you it's India.
Seems like they have that figured out as well, but where are we going?
And that's about it. Because there's literally nothing you can use here. You can't use
You can usually tell off
architecture.
Kratsooo how easy a round is. The fact that he's
Yeah.
sitting the way he is right now goes to show that
I mean,
this is a
it's
tricky
just,
one.
it's literally impossible to reach against
I
this
like it.
one.
I like it. Spaghet, casual hand to the face. I mean, you know what? It adds so much
It
to the difficult
feels-
jib around that you can see their webcams too. Spaghet, he didn't like. You know what? I think this was an anti-second guess yourself. He went, "What's my hunch? What's
Yeah.
my hunch?" As soon as it clicked, he just clicked in. You know,
Yeah.
as soon
I
as
like-
as soon as he felt something, he went for it.
Yeah, I like the northern vibes, but it could be all the way east, it could be all the way
They're
west.
real close to each other once again.
Yeah, it was.
But of course it's India, so it's
further
going to be
west.
difficult. Good thing for Spaghet is that
Mm-hmm.
he gets it right, because that would have been a loss on his side had it been opposite. So we now go into round number 8.
Definitely. I mean, along the north in India, it's so hard to tell those apart. Is that? That is a cactus.
Yes, it does.
Okay. It looks so weird. It looks so
I mean,
dark.
I don't know if you were testing me on foliage, but I would like to say
But
that I
then
can
would
identify a
guess
cactus when it's that big right
it's
in the screen.
Mexico. The color
Is
looks
this
so weird
dirt
to me. It
on the
looked like
road?
roots almost.
Yeah.
Like a root color, but yeah, it should be Mexico then, I assume, with everything else combined. This weird cacti and red soil, pretty green, so we could be somewhere close.
Taking their
Well,
time.
cacti are a bit more central north of the country.
4.5 times multiplier here. 5 seconds left to work with. This could
Wait,
very
we
well
have a-
be a game. Kratsooo is still yet to even put
Okay.
down his marker. Now he does, but they're with quite
He
a
was in
distance
Brazil.
between
He
them.
doesn't know
Oh wait,
where to guess.
he last second changed out of it. He was up there.
Ooh. Yeah, he was switching back and forth.
Wow.
I mean,
Oh, the reaction on his face as well. You can see it. That was a coin flip, and he was back and forth, ends up in East Coast Brazil, and it comes to cost him the game.
I think the problem here, or what was going through his mind, I assume, was that we had a cacti,
Yeah?
which you see in both Mexico and Brazil, but it was very green. And usually Mexico gets more green towards the south, but cacti are more in the north in Mexico.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he considered Brazil more, especially with the red soil, with how green it was, and a cacti. Those three things combined is more common in Brazil, but the overall looks, look Mexican, but really hard to tell there. I can totally understand that toss-up.
Tricky round all the way down to the end of NMPC in order to win it. But hey, it's Spaghet once again beating not only Blinker last week, but Kratsooo now as well. He is on a tear. But before, I was going to say before, because we won't have time to break that down any further, because the next game has already started. So let's just go straight into it. It's Captain versus V89. It's Speed versus... I don't know what to really coin Captain as, but we're in the game already. We're in round 3, so no reason to try and get into it because the game's already started.
They are on it, and they are just about to go over to round 4, but nothing really happened half-wise, therefore we didn't miss out on anything.
Well, no, I mean, it's fast-paced gaming, most likely for V89. And Captain trying to follow suit. The two Nordic players. We'll see who's going to get the upper hand here in this one as V89 swiftly sends it to Southside Kazakhstan.
Yes, indeed. She can guess from both of them. Does check out with the looks of the season. And it is just right outside.
Ding! No, wait, no mind. 2 damage. I thought they were tied. Not quite to be.
And we move over to round 5. Looks like Uruguay. We have this hazy camera, overcast, dirt road, black car, trident poles. Never ever should you ever guess another country than Uruguay with those clues combined.
There you go. Stay right in the middle and you'll be nearby, and indeed they both were. Round 5 won't really be too much happening with that, just 200 some damage over towards V89, who, again, I mean, as we've grown used to seeing, got those guesses in very, very swiftly. But it almost came to cost him in this previous matchup, just giving his opponent a bit too much time, and ended up losing because of it.
Indeed, and now we are in Indonesia. We can use a little bit of architecture. We had some roofs which are very common on the Sumatra island. Let's see if it actually is though. No, we have Sulawesi fences, so I take that back. We have Sulawesi poles as well. So we should be, we also have Sulawesi roofs. 3 Sulawesi clues so far, but V89 didn't get to see them or didn't use them.
On point. That's gonna be it. That's gonna be enough damage come through.
That's Indonesia for you.
Yep.
Not just a big country, but it's also divided by big bodies of water, which gives you that extra kilometers.
8,000 damage in the correct country. That stings. So Sweden up 1-0 against Finland as we make our way into no move. We'll see if Captain can bring this one home, as he currently sits in the lead coming into this one.
And what is happening here? We do have all yellow. Are those yellow lines?
It looks like it.
We should
I
be in
can't see
Australia,
if the right one is yellow
but
as well. But
I mean, I've seen all yellow road lines in Australia, but I think it was in a national park.
I mean, you have
or it's
Australian
just a bit of
bulldogs.
dirt on the road, and that makes it look yellow. Because in the distance, it looks white. But yeah, it should be Australia. We are driving on the left.
And
we have
Australian
those
bulldogs.
bollards. Yes, very foresty with those pines. Makes me think maybe southeast Victoria or Victoria in general. And it is around Canberra.
Because it's right there, and for round 1, 1,800 damage. It's only a select few countries you can get that in. So, having been correct in country guessing the last 2 rounds, V89 is still taking 10,000 total damage. Hopefully, that can turn around here to go into round 2.
Yes, and Captain made a great guess there, to be fair. And we move on over to this round, which looks like, again, around somewhere between me and you, maybe? Germany, Denmark, France,
Not Denmark.
Belgium, Poland. I had
I've never
Germany
seen
here.
these sort of wooden fences in Denmark before. I'd go Poland probably, rather than Denmark in this situation. Issue is V89 was all the way down in France, and it was all the way up in Lithuania. And that's almost going to be him down and out.
Yes.
Captain so far flawless, but I mean, that's not saying much because we're only 2 rounds in. But even with that, V89, despite playing a quick game, is down to under 1,000 health.
Yeah, that was a pretty hard round, and that's usually what is smart to do, to just guess France if nothing else comes to your mind. When nothing makes sense, just guess France. We have a big river following us. I mean, it is Spain. We have those Spanish pedestrian signs.
V89 is currently looking at all the big coastal cities and see if that river lines up with anything.
We have big green mountains right there. You wouldn't get those in the south. Therefore, it should be north or northwest. And we have a big river going into the city, or dividing the city. But that's also something you see in a couple cities.
Going back to the city he started in once again. Is this a 5K in the making? It could potentially be a likely layout of this river.
I really like it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it seems like the city is to our east, and that doesn't happen on V89's guess.
They're on each their side of the country.
But besides that, it looks very good.
Let's see if he's going to get it. No, he is not. And that is going to be a 3-round game for Captain. I like what V89 had lined up there. The river kind of made sense in the angle that he had. But, I mean, we barely even got into this game before it ended.
Yeah, that was a very quick one. I mean, Captain was just on it. Didn't make any mistakes at all. As you said, it looked very good for V89. It did definitely line up very well with the body of water, with the mountains. Everything did fit. But That's how the game is. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong, but you have to be right more often than being wrong. And that's what Captain did.
Guys, quote this, put it on a poster. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong, but you have to be right in order to be right. That's quoted, Geolotris, the master of poetry. As we come to a close here, you can see Zigzag was able to 2-1 Flyme here. That took place off stream, as well as today's first bracket of games come to an end. Here you can see what it changed on the leaderboards, as Zigzag now got into the 40-point club, squeezing his way up there. Captain climbing the leaderboard as well, but look at that, 15 games played. Him and Finbar are really doing well right now.
Yes, definitely. But also lately, especially Spaghet is on a great momentum. He hasn't lost any of his last couple games. I think it's a win streak of 4 now?
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, you say he's been doing well. Let's hear from the man himself. Let's get a little conversation going with Spaghet. Spaghet, congratulations on not just a great day, but a great couple of days and how you've been playing. I mean, ever since your win against Blinky first, I know it didn't happen today, but take us back to that matchup then, and then how maybe that momentum has helped you play today, because you've been playing really well.
Yeah, I guess wasn't one of the games I was expecting to win, so that was pretty positive. I mean, I don't know. I think I played like pretty well above what I usually do on average, and then he probably was having a bad time, I think, especially in the moving game. So
has it done anything to your mental? I mean, to say, you know what, if I can take out the world champion, then I can take out everyone. Is that, I know you're a very humble man, but is there anything, like, is there any fire that's been fueled in you now to go out and say, you know what, I'll take down all of them?
I think the main thing that's been helping is that I've kind of regarded the moving game less so as a moving game and just kind of treated it as like a second no move game, just because you can't really get very far with the like current movement settings. So like in 60 seconds, if like there's nothing immediately right next to you, there's like no point walking. So I've just been, that's like starting last week is when I kind of shifted my mental to like, this isn't really moving, I'm just gonna play it as like no moving, and then that kind of helped a lot for me.
Any questions from you, Geolotris?
Yeah, I mean, we have to talk about one round. First off, congratulations, of course, Spaghet, you're on a great win streak, very good games. But there was one round. By default, we all thought, okay, it's Russia. But we saw both you and Kratsooo hovering over Canada. Was it because there was no antenna, or was there an antenna? What was the thought there?
Yeah, there was no antenna, and we were clearly on like the right-hand side of the road looking backwards if it was driving. So it would be very weird if that was like kind of a normal Russia location, just because they'd be driving on the wrong side of the road. But it just looked too much like Russia to like not. And I don't know.
I mean, we had the same
like
thought.
maybe, yeah.
I can tell you were both
Like
hovering. I mean,
Canada,
both looked like you were very close to clicking Canada, but then none of you guys did, which could have been game. I mean, for either one of you. How does it feel when you're in it? I mean, for you in particular, because we see oftentimes that players, they will second guess themselves, and sometimes it gives them a win. Sometimes, obviously, they end up losing because of it. But how do you work in those situations? Because I feel like there was a round where you guessed in East Side India as well, where you ended up getting some points off it, and it looked to me like you were very decisive in that as soon as you felt this could be it, you just went with it. Instead of giving yourself a chance to second guess yourself, you just kind of insta-locked in on those rounds. Is that how you work against potential second guessing yourself, or is there any like active decision making in that?
I think like you don't really have like numbers in your head, but you have like like, you know, like a level of confidence in like, I'd be pretty like, if it was not here, I would be pretty upset, you know, that kind of thing.
When you're above a certain percentage
so,
of
like,
expectation.
Yeah. If you think it's there, I think it's best to go there. But then sometimes you just like insta-plonk a hui, and then you like look at the round itself and you're like, oh, this is Chile. So, sometimes it doesn't work, but
it does happen. It does happen like that every now and again. My last question for you before we let you go. Obviously, we coming into every game, we see the stats on how quick are you guys in guessing and your accuracy percentages and all that. I like to think that what you currently have as your average guess time doesn't quite match your actual playing speed. Because I feel like, as you've been saying too, maybe treating the moving rounds as no move. I feel like you're getting some of those guesses in very quickly these days. Is that a strat you're planning on incorporating more of moving forward? Something you've seen work? Like what goes into you now maybe guessing faster on average?
I think if a round is like you're like 90 or to like 95% sure it's somewhere, there's like not much point in spending more time. I think like I don't know, just like the mental effort that you expend, and then you get like I don't know, like 100 points in return. There's maybe not that much value in doing something like that.
The chance of you getting your opponent to get a worse guess off of you maybe getting 100 points more has the better value to it, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense. Any final shout outs you want to throw to viewers at home? Any fans watching out there?
Oh shit, I wasn't prepared for that.
You don't have to say anything, but now you don't know. Thank your mom, thank your friends, whoever got you into GeoGuessr. If there's anything you want to say.
I know my parents like watching this, so
there you go. You can say it in Japanese as well if you want to. Just if there's
they know
anything,
English, it's fine.
Well, there you go then.
All right.
So also shout out from us.
Yeah, shout out
to your
us.
family.
It's great to see how you're literally skyrocketing up that leaderboard right now. Keep the journey going, keep it coming. It's great to see.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us, Spaghet. Best of luck in your matches moving forward, coming into the next 10 weeks, I suppose, as we are now officially, Gelotris, at the halfway mark of the World League. We have finished the first bracket of games today. Today is the halfway day. And if we can, I know that our dear and beloved producer is saying, guys, just finish the show. I told you to finish like 10 minutes ago. But we're having too much fun. So if possible, it would be amazing to see the leaderboard one final time. I'm looking into the camera. Oh, he's quick. He's quick. He knows what's happening. This is the halfway mark. And I love these specific areas because whenever the tournament comes to a close and we know who wins, we know who comes in second, all this and that, this is always a great point to look back to. Because now we've played half the games. And I'll give you one last chance here, Gelotris, before we round off. Are there any things in particular right now that stands out as surprising or overly expected, I suppose you could say as well?
I would say there's nothing really standing out. I would say this is something you could have predicted for sure. What we have to keep in mind, though, is that there are still players who don't have as many matches, even though we are halfway into the league. There are just some players who have them scheduled a bit later into the league, more than others. Therefore, I assume there will be some differences in this later on. But overall, I would say this is something you can predict.
Okay, so and I'll ask you this when we come to the end of the World League, but I'll say we can confirm it by the end of the World League. Based on the leaderboard as it sits right now, which individual player, and it could be both going up and going down the leaderboard, which individual player do you think will be the furthest away from where their current placement is?
I want to go with Trishta. Further up.
Screenshot this right now. There we go. Trishta will be the player that goes the furthest away from where it currently is by going up the leaderboard, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Roger that. You heard it here first, everyone. We got our predictions in. And now, let's take a look at the matches that are going to be played later on today. For those of you guys wondering, what is CET? What is 19? We only count to 12. Don't worry, guys. We got you covered. The games start in 4 hours. Literally, exactly right now. Put your timer on. I guess now it's 3 hours and 49 minutes. Or 59 minutes. But that's when it is. That's when Rado will be taking on Gingy to kick off the latter stage of today's games. And as you can see, we said it earlier as well, Gelotris, these matches tonight are looking insane.
Yes, and we have a lot of games. I didn't do it until now, but might also shout out myself because I do the co-cast on Twitch. So you will see those games that aren't on the main broadcast on my channel.
There you go.
So check out Gelotris on Twitch. I will be co-casting the games that aren't on the mainstream.
There you go.
And we have quite the bangers on there.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And of course, if you guys didn't hear it before, the video is already out on social media. You can go watch it there as well. But the dates and locations for the major tournaments this year, the regional majors, have been announced. May 18th, it's gonna be in Tokyo, Japan. Not just in Tokyo, but in the freaking Tokyo Tower itself. That's gonna be insane. Then May 23rd and 24th, it's gonna be in Dallas at DreamHack. And then on June 13th and 14th, the EMEA Major will take place at Glitched in Jönköping, which is going to be absolutely amazing. And of course, they're all playing in the World League, the Majors, everything is all leading into the World Cup Finals, which, if you don't know by now, well, at least here's the info. It's going to be in Copenhagen, August 29th to 30th. You can get your tickets now over at geoguessr.com/World Cup. Make sure to go over, secure those tickets, and get your way there. Also, you can subscribe here on Twitch if you want to help increase the prize pool for that tournament. Any final words you want to say? Anything that really stood out to you today, Gelotris, before we finish today's show?
To add to the subs, we have to mention the goodie bags. There will be a raffle every week. Every Sunday there will be a raffle.
Maybe you're the winner.
Did we announce the name? Are we allowed to announce the name?
You know, we'll do it just for the sake of.
It's Chess VR who won a goodie bag for last Sunday. The raffle for this Sunday will be later on. So if you're sub, you are automatically in the raffle and you can win a goodie bag.
Make sure to check those DMs. And as you're saying, I mean, after today's broadcast...
I mean, to the broadcast, it was just some amazing games. It was fun doing it with you, Toby. Of course, we had some Denmark rounds.
I was just going to say, if you were going to skip those, I was going to say, there's no way we don't talk about a Denmark 5K from Manu. That was the highlight of the day.
That's right. And yeah, that will wrap it up for now. And it will continue in 4 hours.
Exactly. And thank you so much, everyone. I'm seeing those viewership numbers on Twitch increase with every single week. Love that we're getting so many new people in there. But not only that, also the fact that some of the veteran viewers are sat in chat helping out whenever new viewers come in. They have questions about things. You guys are never going, oh, you're new, what a noob. No, everyone is helping each other, getting better at GeoGuessr, and that is what it's all about. We love you guys. You're an amazing community, and we can't wait to show you more GeoGuessr. So before the next games come in, go in and play some more GeoGuessr yourself.
Dear fans of GeoGuessr, it's time for us to explore the world. Come and support your favorite players as they fight it out in the virtual boxing ring. The prize? A ticket to the World Cup. This year's major locations are Japan, inside the iconic Tokyo Tower. United States at DreamHack Dallas, one of the largest gaming festivals in the world. And finally, Sweden at the newest gaming festival, Glitched, in Jönköping. Go to geoguessr.com/World Cup for more information. We will see you there.